This is WVFI, the voice of the Fighting Irish at the University of Notre Dame. Streaming live on location, this is Notre Dame Sports.
From Reidy Stadium in West Lafeyette, Indiana, it's Notre Dame football on the airwaves of WVFI Sports Radio. So glad you could be with us on this beautiful Saturday afternoon in the Hoosier State. Today it's 18th-ranked Notre Dame matching up with the Boilermakers of Purdue for the 88th time all-time, as the Irish and Boilermakers meet in Week 3 of the College Football Stadium here in West Lafayette. I'm Tyler Reidy. So glad to be with you for the pregame. Ryan Murphy and Ben Rohr will join me for the call in just about 7 or 8 minutes from now, as we are just under 14 minutes away from kickoff here in West Lafayette, a 3:40 p.m. official kickoff time, as the Irish look to bounce back after a tough one a week ago at home against Northern Illinois, a 16-14 upset loss in the home opener after a 23-13 road victory in Week 1 for Notre Dame against Texas A&M. Irish now come in with a record of 1-1 with 10 games to go in the regular season. Meanwhile, for Purdue, in year 2 under head coach Ryan Walters, the Boilermakers are 1-0, had a rare Week 2 bye week last Saturday, as the college football slate this season allows for 2 bye weeks during the season. The Irish will take theirs on October 5th and November 2nd, but for Purdue, a bye week last week after a big victory in Week 1 over FCS program Indiana State, so it's back-to-back in-state matchups to open up the season for Purdue. 2 weeks ago, it was a 49-0 victory for the Boilermakers. Purdue scored in every quarter, as quarterback Hudson Card, a former Texas Longhorn, delivered 273 passing yards with 4 touchdowns on 24 for 25 passing before checking out of the game late with Purdue up big. So the Boilermaker passing attack was lethal in Week 1, but it's a much higher caliber defense opposing Purdue today, as the Irish secondary and defense overall looks to bounce back along with the whole team. It was a very weird game against Northern Illinois a week ago. If you watched it, you probably don't want to relive it too much here on the airwaves of WVFI, but just to reiterate, it was a difficult day for Notre Dame's offense, which is still without a passing touchdown. The quarterback position is going to be a very interesting spot to watch for Notre Dame today. Riley Leonard without a passing touchdown so far. His performance 2 weeks in has been subpar to the standards that the Irish expected coming into this year, and now he's got a little bit of an injury concern. That labrum in his non-throwing left shoulder is a bit banged up, and with his performance and the concern for injury, just keep an eye on how long the leash will be for Riley Leonard today. Steve Angeli has been talked about in many circles of the Notre Dame fan base as a potential secondary option early in the season, with the offense struggling to generate output early on. So that quarterback position, one to watch, as well as the Irish run game, which has shown some good things, starting with Jeremiah Love, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns through 2 games for the sophomore running back, but they'll need to pick it up even more. And that Irish run defense, which really struggled last week against Northern Illinois, the front 7 in particular, had a very tough time containing Ontario Brown. Will have to step up as well against a Purdue offense that will, for the most part, beat pass first, but has the ability to run the ball well. They did that well against Indiana State, along with the entire rest of their team in a 49-0 victory. So we'll take a quick break, and when we return, Ben Rohr and Ryan Murphy will join me for the call from West Lafayette, Indiana. Notre Dame and Purdue just 10 minutes from kickoff on WVFI Sports Radio, the voice of the Fighting Irish.
More action is coming up next on WVFI.
We're back on WVFI Sports Radio, the voice of the Fighting Irish, just 5 minutes away from kickoff here at Reidy Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. The teams are about to take the field, 18th-ranked Notre Dame and Purdue, on a beautiful mid-September Saturday afternoon at Reidy Stadium. Temperatures right around 87 degrees. The sky's just about fully clear. A few clouds here and there, but blue skies overhead and football on the way. So without further ado, let's hand it over to our broadcast team. Ben Rohr and Ryan Murphy now have the call of Notre Dame and Purdue in Week 3 on WVFI Sports Radio.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Absolutely thrilled to join you here from West Lafayette. I'm joined by Mr. Ryan Murphy for a picturesque Saturday here at Ross-Ade Stadium on Rohrman Field here as the Irish face off against the Boilermakers for the first time since 2021, resurrecting that rivalry that came back just 2 years ago after going away in 2014. Now, Ryan, we just heard an excellent little recap by our very own Tyler Reidy pre-game before this game about NIU, all that went down with Purdue a few weeks ago, and, of course, the Irish last week. Ryan, what do the Irish need to do today to turn it around, to make sure that doesn't happen again?
I was giggling there because Tyler Reidy was being humble. He was kind of patting his hands like it's nothing, but he did do a great job. Thanks, Tyler. And thanks, Ben. Glad to be here. I mean, you're going to look for an Irish running attack. I think everyone was disappointed by the rushing usage for Notre Dame last week of Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. The thing is, they're going against a Purdue defense that run defense is their strength, right?
Yep.
Ryan Walters being a disciple. They're going to stack the box. It's going to be difficult. Notre Dame's going to want to open up the pass game, so I think that gets us into the next big question of the game, which is Riley Leonard. Can Notre Dame get Riley Leonard a better performance and a better showing than he did last week? He was kind of in the doghouse among Notre Dame fans, as you can hear the chorus of boos as the Irish come onto the field. But how will he come out, right? We're looking to the running attack. Notre Dame's going to need to establish something there in order for him to be successful, but they're also going to need some more of Riley Leonard, some more of the receiving core than we saw Saturday against NIU.
Absolutely. As Tyler mentioned, still looking for that elusive first touchdown pass of the season. Also, something to mention, still looking for that first 20-yard pass from the pass attack of the Fighting Irish on the entire season. Bo Collins sort of establishing himself as a number one receiver in South Bend. Who are you looking for besides him to maybe take a step, hopefully in this game, seeing as we did not have anyone make that jump in NIU? Maybe a Chris Mitchell or something.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. And, you know, when I was going through the box score, and this is based on the box score only, right? But if you look at Jaden Greathouse against NIU, 9 targets, 5 receptions, right? Chris Mitchell, 8 targets, 3 receptions. That's not good enough. Now, so how much of that is on them? How much of that is on the quarterback? It doesn't really matter, right? If Notre Dame is going to live up to the expectations that they set for themselves at the beginning of the year, and the receiving room is going to live up to the expectations they set up, they're going to need more than just, 3 catches on 8 targets for Chris Mitchell, right? They need more out of him.
Absolutely. As the coin toss happens here, we've got Jack Kaiser, Riley Mills out there for the Irish. Xavier Watts joins them. Let's see what the call is here.
So it looks like
Notre Dame will receive.
You got the call? All right.
Yeah,
Notre Dame will receive.
Did not hear it. All right.
Reminiscent of last week, right? Notre Dame got the ball first. And which drive was their best drive of that ball game? The first one.
They went halves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They went 6+ minutes. They looked really good, and they came out and were like, all right, Notre Dame's looked exactly how we expected them to look against NIU, right?
Yep.
We're not going to be deceived by that this time, right? I like Purdue here getting the ball in the second half. That really ended up working out for NIU in terms of establishing momentum, right? That's kind of a well-known thing, I guess, get the ball in the second half. But Notre Dame will have the benefit of quite a few Irish fans that made the trip, looks like.
Yeah, I'm seeing quite a bit of green popping out against the Purdue tan and black. Our shirt this year, not really the color you're looking for if you're in West Lafayette. Not what you want to wear. Definitely the green standing out against their colors. But the ball will end up in Riley Leonard's hands to start a game. And other than that first drive, it was about that Jeremiah Love breakout hurdle touchdown. Was just about the only offensive highlight the Irish had the rest of the way. Ryan, what do you think about Riley's running ability? Seeming to be a lot of reports saying hindered by that non-throwing arm shoulder injury, where theoretically his throws will be unhindered, but the running game could actually be
right. Notre Dame went to great lengths to kind of dispel any idea that they went away from Riley Leonard on the ground because of the injury he suffered in that first half. But I just don't buy it, right? They need Riley Leonard to be successful on the ground as well. That is his strength right now. He's a developmental passer. They've talked about that. they're going to need to run him, right? And we'll see whether they're comfortable running him. You absolutely said it. That injury is going to play a big part.
Yeah, Leonard with 9 rushes in the first quarter and a half takes that big bump on a sack, doesn't run again for the rest of the game as the ball is being placed on the tee for the start of this ball game with the Irish back to receive. Ben Freehill of the Boilermakers is going to boot it back to the Irish.
Notre Dame's going to be moving left to right here, right into the teeth of the Purdue student section, which is scattered throughout the south end zone and off to the far side of it.
And the ball is up. It's a low kick. It's going to get into the end zone, fly over the head of Jaden Harrison as the Irish will take the ball in a touchback.
Picturesque early September. We had a little bit of cool temps last weekend. 90 degrees at kickoff, sunny, cloudless, feels like 91, and the humidity is a dry 38%. Winds 10 miles an hour out of the east-southeast. Beautiful day for football here in West Lafeyette.
That's perfect early college football right there. As Riley Leonard takes the helm once again, he's going to start with Jeremiah Love in the backfield with him. All right. The Irish are lined up. Craig with the snap. Oh, Harrison in motion, takes it around the side, bit of a jet sweep, and he's forced out at about the 30-yard line. Maybe even, not even a 5-yard gain there. But, there was some lateral movement there. Already a run early in the game. Sort of what we expected to see on that first play.
Absolutely, and you want to keep your eye on the snaps from Ashton Craig. Maybe not at his best in the second game of the year against NIU. He had a couple against Texas A&M as well. Big part of keeping this Notre Dame offense tempo.
There goes Bo in motion, shows back out. Riley Leonard rolls to his right and gets the pass off to Collins, and that's going to be a completion for the Irish. Not exactly a vertical pass, but hey, a completion nonetheless for Riley Leonard on the second play of this ball game.
And Collins is showing up to be Notre Dame's most consistent receiver so far. 5 targets, 5 receptions for 45 yards against NIU. He was good, maybe developing a little bit of chemistry with Leonard.
Yeah, that could be very exciting to see as the Irish have moved the chains. Just first and 10 here, apologies. Ball on just about the 36-yard line. Set up. Love motions out. Leonard, it's going to be a draw. He's got a hole. He's got one defender on his left. He's at midfield. He's forced out of bounds just around the 50-yard line. Another great gain and another first down for the Irish. 12 yards on that play. A well-designed draw play for Leonard there.
Absolutely, and I think it was Emil Wagner who might have got in there with a nice block. We're getting a look at the replay here on the board. Yep, Emil Wagner opens up that hole on the left side for Leonard. Well done. We've talked about establishing the ground game for Leonard. That's it right there.
Absolutely. All right. Leonard now back once again. Claps, yelling at his offensive line here. Gets the snap off. It's going to be our first true handoff that is stuffed quickly by the Boilermaker front 7. Maybe a 2-yard gain there for the Irish as they force the ball over midfield on the Big P logo. Jeremiah Love on the carry there. Stays second and 10. No gain. Ball on the 48. 3-yard. Okay, yeah, they've just updated it. 3-yard gain there, I was going to say.
I was just as surprised as you were.
I was going to say. Definitely got some yardage there. 2nd and 7 for the Irish. Love is going to stay out there. Definitely seeing the majority on this first drive. Leonard counts it off. Yet another handoff. Love's trying to find his way on the outside. He does. He's past the 45. He's past the 30, 20, 10. And Love's going to find his way in the end zone on the right side of the field on this opening drive for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. 6-0. What a drive there. That's exactly what 48-yard touchdown. Thank you, Tyler. That's exactly what we were talking about just before this game. Establish the run game, force it down their throats, and bang, you break one off with Jeremiah Love.
And yet again, his touchdowns last week, 21 yards and 34 yards, he's shown that he's kind of a big play back.
Yeah.
Huge touchdown there for Notre Dame.
Mitch Jeter out for the extra point to secure it to a 7-0 lead. Chris Salerno on the hold. Ball is snapped. The kick is up. And that's going to be good. 7-0 lead for the Irish.
And I got to give a shout out. Bo Collins did his job on that run. Great block downfield in the secondary. Huge score, Irish up 7-0.
And we talked about it in the drive here, meaning our physical drive from South Bend to West Lafayette. The right side of the offensive line, seemingly much stronger than the left, seeing last week that left side of Anthony Knapp and Sam Pendleton. You'll notice where that big play was. It was up the right side.
Yep, Billy Schrautz and Emil Wagner have been good.
Yeah, there's a reason you've heard their names a lot less than the others on the left side of the ball there. We'll take a quick break here on WVFI. We'll be back with Purdue's first drive of the game, see how they respond. All right, we are back here on WVFI. The voice of the Fighting Irish, 7-0 Notre Dame after that opening drive. 12:50 left to play in this first quarter as the Boilermakers will get their first crack at this vaunted Irish defense. Mitch Jeter back with the kick, lining it up, feeling it in the wind there. I like it. Getting his legs under him as he runs up, and the ball is up. That one might be able to be brought out. Caught at the 2-yard line, and he takes it out, and he's got Green in front of him, makes a couple moves, and is brought down around the 21-yard line. A flag is out on the play. We'll see what that is.
It's a huge hit by, I think it was Bryce Young, perhaps, away from the play.
That could be the source of this flag.
Nope. It is against Purdue.
It's against the home squad as Purdue was mobbed there just around the 20-yard line.
All right, so we get to see this Purdue offense, which is highly vaunted in the air.
Yep.
Or a little bit of an air raid attack. You'll see Hudson Card, the Texas transfer, leading this air raid attack against an Irish secondary that is really good.
Yeah, about as good as it gets there. Still have the veteran leaders of Benjamin Morrison, Xavier Watts leading the way. Christian Gray having a great year. As, the refs are talking to him, to that Purdue offense here, as Hudson Card will get his first snap of the game. Who's back there? It appears to be Devin Mockabee on a quick reverse, who gets the ball and is, tackled for loss and just driven back to the 2-yard line. Forward progress will probably stop him before he gets to there. But we also talked about this earlier. The Irish with just 6 tackles for loss across 2 games, which ranks last in Power 4 teams and just beating about 4 other teams in all of FBS. And we got our first one right there on the first play of the Purdue offensive series. 2nd and 10. Ball snap, empty backfield, toss, quick slant, caught, brought down around the 20 or even the 30-yard line there. A great slant for the Purdue offense is going to get them 18 yards and a fresh set of downs as we just cross under 12 minutes to play in this first quarter.
Yeah, that's Jamal Edrin. He's the FAU transfer. He was held out last year due to injury. They've been making an effort to get him the ball early and often. He's going to be their top receiver.
And the Boilermakers are running their offense quick here, not taking a lot of time to huddle and let themselves settle in as Card drops back to pass once again. Ooh. And a little bit of miscommunication as Benjamin Morrison almost comes up with a pick on the left sideline of the field.
Well, we talked about the matchup between the air raid offense for Purdue and the secondary for Notre Dame, but the real question is, will we see Purdue deviate away from that scheme, keep things on the ground, because Notre Dame's defensive line has not been great. We talked about the struggles of Riley Mills. Will we see them deviate? Didn't really work on that first play of the drive.
No, and they've stayed in the air since as Mockabee stays in the backfield. He gets a pitch here up the far sideline, and he's mobbed once again after about a 3-yard gain, and it's going to be 3rd down and pretty long for the Boilermakers with 11 and a half to play. Yeah, the defensive line, let's talk about it, because you've got Oben, who's really sort of Oben and Mills, who have not been presences in the box score, not nearly as much as you would like to see, especially with Burnham going down. There's not many options to turn to afterwards, but they appear to be holding up quite well in this opening series for the Boilermaker offense. Card has it again, drops back to pass, rushed heavily, another slant, but absolutely mobbed. Absolutely mobbed.
Jordan Clark had Pretty good game, I thought, against NIU, coming in early with a nice tackle here in the secondary. And
and we've got
fourth down.
Yeah, got our first punt alert of the game as it's 4th and 4 for Purdue. Gonna send it back to who's back there for the Irish. Let's take a look here. Turn towards me, if you would. That's going to be Jaden Greathouse, number 1. All right.
2 Australian punters in this game. Both teams sporting Australian punters, so it's Keelan Crimmins.
One of the more fun facts I've heard, as the punt is off cleanly, barely, it's over Greathouse's head, lands around the 10-yard line and rolls into the end zone before the Boilermakers can get to it and pin the Irish down at about the 1-yard line. It's going to be a touchback.
Yeah, you saw the fans kind of rise out of their seats just a little bit because that was slowing down by the goal line, but no, Notre Dame gets a touchback. And a great opportunity here to go up by 2 scores, something they never did really against NIU.
No.
Or Texas A&M, I believe, either, right? So, you know, we talk about killer instinct being an important part of sports, right? And Notre Dame, you know, I would argue they showed killer instinct at the end of the Texas A&M game with the 46-yard field goal from Mitch Jeter. They obviously didn't show it against NIU, right? This is early in the ball game, right? But, like, these things matter. You get a stop, go down, get a score, give yourself some cushion.
Yeah, this is much more of what I thought I would see in the NIU game than I ever saw.
Not yet. Wait for it. Wait for the second drive. Wait for the second drive.
Absolutely, I agree with you. But that stop right there was more than I feel I ever saw. I thought right away, just in the trenches on the defensive side of the ball, the Irish were getting pushed around by the Huskies to where, as you saw very much at the end of the game.
Well, I'll tell you what, that first drive last week, there was an 83-yard touchdown. Secondary was a lot more under control right there. So, hey, good start. Now you got to pay it off and hopefully take a 2-score lead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I thought, immediately, especially, and we saw it translate all the way to the end of the game, where the Huskies could do what they pleased on the offensive side of the ball and really force big plays, big drives, chunk it along, and set themselves up for that game-winning field goal with 10 minutes and 9 seconds to play in this first quarter. The Irish looking, to take a 2-score lead for the first time in the 2024 fall.
And they didn't credit Notre Dame with a tackle for loss
on
the first play of that drive. But again, that's an encouraging play. The team came in last among Power 4 conference teams, ahead of only 5 teams, among which were Toledo, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Akron, UMass.
Yeah, not a great company for Notre Dame in the tackle for loss category, right? And no, strong showing from Notre Dame's defense. I think the general consensus coming out of that NIU game was, you had 2 camps. You had the camp that's like, the defense needs to be better. They are just as much as at fault. And then there was a camp that was like, hey, the offense only scored 14 points. How are you going to fault the defense, right? I mean, I think you can be in both camps here, right? You could say the defense needed to improve, and they need to improve today. We need to see more from them, while also not pinning the loss maybe on them, right?
Absolutely.
So, encouraging start on the defensive and offensive side of the ball for Notre Dame.
Absolutely. As the Irish take the field once more, you've got Jadarian Price in the backfield on this first play with Leonard. Maybe switching it up. We saw a lot of Jeremiah Love last drive. See if Jadarian Price's turn can go as proficiently on the offensive side of the ball. Mitchell Evans goes in motions, jets back out as Leonard snaps the ball, drops back to pass. Looking downfield a bit here. He's got Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price not ready for that pass. Sails over his head into a bit of a danger zone, but it's going to be incomplete. 2nd and 10.
He had plenty of time there. The pocket was not the problem.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, I think it was Leonard maybe struggling with the vision, and then once he was able to spot Price, maybe just not a great throw over the top of the offensive line.
Yeah.
Didn't really set his feet.
No.
Didn't set his feet. I don't think Price looked ready for that ball. But he stays on the field as we see Jaden Thomas go in motion. Here's a handoff to Price. He's met quickly with Boilermakers and brought down maybe even behind the line of scrimmage there. But it looks like it's probably going to be a 1-yard gain as the Irish see their first 3rd and long of this Purdue matchup.
And this is where Notre Dame gets themselves in trouble, right? They get themselves in trouble because they put themselves in these 3rd and long situations. That's a big deal in college football, right? 3rd and long is not something to sniff at.
And they need to throw the ball downfield on these 3rd and longs, which, as we mentioned, has been the issue. As Riley Leonard and Price stay in the backfield. Leonard drops back to pass. He's got some time, but he's forced out to the right side. He's running it. He's taking himself. He's up behind the 25-yard line, forced out of bounds. I don't think he got to that first down marker. It's going to be 4th and about 4 as the Irish are going to be forced to punt the ball away to the Boilermakers. And gentlemen, the second drive.
But exactly, and that's why we say, whoa, hold your horses, right?
Sure.
I mean, that drive kind of epitomizes a lot of the question marks around Notre Dame's offense right now. Jeremiah Love has a great first drive. He puts the offense on his back, runs it into the end zone. Jadarian Price comes out for the second drive, right? I'll let you call the punt here before we.
Wow, no one will let me call the punt. It looks like we might have a false start. Flags fly before the ball is even snapped on this punt. So you're welcome to keep going here, Ryan.
Well, I think it's going to be against. It's looking like it's going to be against Notre Dame here.
Definite false start.
Yep. Did you get a look at who jumped?
It was 40-somebody, I think.
Yeah, which special teams is...
Maybe Junior Tuihalamaka.
Could be as the ball is punted now. Whoa! Sort of the returner touched by his own player there as the ball falls. Notre Dame jumps on the ball. No whistles there. I mean, it looks like it's just...
Nope, they're calling it Purdue ball.
Calling it Purdue ball.
Boilermaker never touched it.
Yeah, no. Boilermaker never touched it, so it was really just pinned down at about the 40-yard line.
And Rendell averaging 39.8 on his punch so far this year. Again, mentioned 2 Australian punters. Rendell's a interesting story in his own right. After 4 years at the Citadel going and serving in the U.S. Army, he's still got some extra years of eligibility, but he's been only okay, right? And I think this sets Purdue up with good field position. To go back to kind of what we talked about, we have a little bit of time here. I don't know if we want to cut to break, but, Jadarian Price comes out, and it's like, Love had a great. That was a big question, right? What is the philosophy behind the usage? I understand, it's hot. Jeremiah Love is out there the whole first drive. Maybe you want to give him a rest after Purdue only gets 1 first down on their first drive, right? I understand that, but, killer instinct. If Love's the guy, hand him the ball. And I'm not saying that's all on Jadarian Price, but that's one of the questions. And then Notre Dame continues to put themselves in these 3rd and long situations that have continually been at the center of why the offense looks hard for Notre Dame. And offense has looked hard for the entirety of Marcus Freeman's tenure, right? And why is it? It's because of these 3rd and long situations. They're not playing situational management well.
Absolutely. The question marks have shifted from last year. The question mark was not on the O-line last year. It is this year, where you're looking for that reliable run to get you 4, 5, 6 yards on the first 2 plays of a series, and you can't do it, and you end up in these 3rd and longs. This year, then you got to look to the pass game, and that's its own question mark in its own right, with Leonard's arm really not showing any sort of promise, especially last week, where just it looks brutal for him to get the ball past 15 yards, as we saw most egregiously on the interception. Big cheer there on the video board.
Yeah, it's Matt Painter, the Purdue men's basketball head coach, just shown on the big screen behind the south end zone, or just next door to Mackey Arena, where Purdue basketball calls home. And, that's one heck of a program. We were talking about some of their recent NCAA tournament success walking around campus today, and this Purdue football program has a long way to go to get to their point with the men's basketball team. But, it's a fun matchup between 2 programs with a lot of different athletic offerings here today, and Purdue men's basketball is right up there for sure.
Absolutely.
And great histories between these 2 programs. I mean, it was so cool coming down through Indiana today, in-state rivalry, right? That's cool. You see a lot of Notre Dame fans in the house. There's some animosity between these 2 schools. They don't like each other. They do not like Notre Dame here in West Lafayette. They do not.
Absolutely. As the Boilermaker offense will retake the field with 8:45 to play. The Irish still leading 7-0 after that opening drive, as Hudson Card gets the ball back in his hands, drops back to pass. He's forced to scramble out to the far side of the field, tosses one up. He's got a wide open receiver who grabs them a first down, but a flag is somewhere on the field after a 12-yard gain there.
I think this is going to go against Purdue. It's going to be a hold. Jordan Botello broke through that offensive line there. I think he had his jersey grabbed. Yep.
Holding. Going to send the Boilermakers back a long ways after a big gain there by Drew Biber of the Boilermakers.
DJ Wingfield, the right guard, the guilty party on the hold.
Hey, this is a big drive for Purdue. You know, again, we talked about responding to Notre Dame, maybe feeling a little bit not confident on the offensive side of the ball. Go tie this game up. Get the ball in the hands of Jamal Edrin, if you ask me.
Absolutely. I want to point out Reggie Love in the backfield. He's going to get the carry here, hops over the pile, and gets maybe about 4 or 5 yards on 1st and 20 as we move now just around 8:15 to play in the first quarter. Love now taking over. Interesting, similar philosophy happening on the Purdue side of the ball, where we went away from Love on the second drive. They moved towards their Love on this drive, switching out Devin Mockabee for Reggie Love the third.
We'd be remiss to point out that there weren't 2 Love running backs in this game.
2 Australian punters, 2 Love running backs. They're the same team. As the ball is snapped, Card drops back to pass, but Kaiser breaks through. The ball is up and floating and thrown away just in time before Jack Kaiser broke through that defensive line and was all over Hudson Card quickly.
I think this is the Notre Dame defense we expected to see. You know, they're putting a lot of pressure on Hudson Card right now. They've broken through the offensive line now twice in the last 2 plays. Encouraging signs here early for Notre Dame.
Absolutely. You've got to wonder what NIU was putting in their food as Card doesn't like what he sees. Takes a second to reset his offense here.
A long way to go. 3rd and 15 at the 38. They've got to get to the Irish 47.
Absolutely. Dips below the 8-minute mark as the ball is snapped. Card's got a lot of time, but here comes Benjamin Morrison who deflects the pass. And, yeah, that was fully not Benjamin Morrison. Let's see what number. That was Adon Schuler there who knocked that ball away before that had a chance to go anywhere. Plenty of time there. No one was able to get open. Schuler had a free second and went flying in, and Card tried to get rid of it.
And he was the quarterback spy there. How about that, Murph?
He broke out against Texas A&M with that interception. That would have been huge for Notre Dame. We talked about them losing the turnover battle against NIU. I don't think he had a chance to grab that, but he got a hand on it. QB spy Adon Schuler.
Yeah, a fantastic play. 4th and 15, Jaden Greathouse back now. And the punt is up, nearly blocked, but it's going to get off cleanly. Fair catch by Greathouse at around the 19-18-yard line. 7.5 to play in this first quarter. Irish still leading 7-0. Got a TV timeout here. We're going to go to a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We will be back very shortly with more action. Irish at Purdue. All right, we are back. 7:36 to play in this first quarter as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense will get their third crack at the defense. I mean, I saw sort of the Purdue offense needing to find a rhythm in their pass game, and once they do, they're very dangerous. Hudson Card already 2 for 5 today after being 24 for 25 against Indiana State.
Setting an FBS record, by the way, for completion percentage.
Yeah.
Like, insanely good in one game.
The Notre Dame defense not allowing that rhythm to be found today as Riley Leonard and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense are back on the field. Jeremiah Love returns for this third drive. He's right next to Riley Leonard as the ball is snapped. The flag flies right as the ball is snapped. Leonard didn't even get the handoff off. Delay of game here on the Irish. I mean, that's just mismanagement. Got to get the ball off there.
First play of the drive, you're in the, not that there's a quiet part of Ross-Ade Stadium, but this is the quieter end of the field, right? The student section's on the Irish driving from left to right here, so the student section is down to our far right. Not a great start.
Moving the ball back to the 13-yard line for 1st and 15 as Jeremiah Love jogs off the field.
Devin Ford, the running back.
Yeah, Devin Ford takes his place as Thomas goes in motion. Designed run for Leonard, trying to get to the outside. He does before being ultimately forced out at about the 18-yard line. Broke a tackle a little bit there to extend that play to about a 5-yard gain. Nearly a disaster, but Leonard pulls it off.
Yeah, and that's why you count on the athleticism of Riley Leonard, right? Devin Ford actually misses his tackle, and Leonard's got to do it himself, right? Do it with that athleticism. He gets out of bounds. Good gain for the Irish.
All right, now Jeremiah Love has regained his spot on the field after a quick showing from Devin Ford for that designed run for Leonard. Leonard claps the ball, snaps, quick handoff to Jeremiah Love, who cuts towards the sideline. He's around the edge again, and before being forced out about the 40-yard line, another amazing play up the right side for Jeremiah Love.
We got an injury on the field. Billy Schrouth is down.
Oh, no.
But, I mean, that was some athleticism shown by Jeremiah Love. He's got it. I mean, that was that's like a 90-degree angle turn. 20-yard gain. That's Notre Dame 40. I mean, impressive stuff, but I think if you're a Notre Dame fan, you're a little concerned with Billy Schrouth down on the field right now.
Oh, I'm terrified. I'm terrified here with an already thin offensive line.
Rocco Spindler would be his backup at the right guard position.
Spindler, who played quite a number of games last year for the Irish. Still something you do not want to see.
He started 10 games at right guard, but, I mean, Schrouth was in that Texas A&M game. You know, if you're going off PFF scores, he was Notre Dame's best offensive lineman.
Absolutely. Schrouth and Wagner have been the strong side of this offensive line. He's being helped off the field now.
And he's favoring that right leg, looks like.
Trying to not put any pressure there on the left. A better walk-off than his worst-case scenario, but just a devastating thing to see for the Irish offensive line early in this ball game as the clock slips below 7 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Irish are going to have the ball at the 40 after an amazing run by Jeremiah Love. Cuts in, sees a hole, cuts way out, gets around, sets an edge on the outside, and has a 21-yard gain for a second massive play of the game as he stays in the backfield with Riley Leonard. 3 receivers out wide. Going to be a fake handoff. Leonard keeps it himself, lobs it up, completes, running toward the first down marker, gets across the 50-yard line before being forced out.
Nice to see Eli Raridon with the reception there.
Absolutely.
Had an ACL injury his freshman year. Last year he played in 7 games, but kind of struggled to get his feet underneath him here, part of Notre Dame's tight end core.
Yeah, Eli Raridon, third listed tight end of the depth chart, but brings one in for a 12-yard gain that'll get the Irish a fresh set of downs as the clock hits 6 minutes to play. 2 gentlemen in the backfield there, both Love and Price, but Love motions out wide. Price remains in the backfield. Goes out to receive. Leonard's got plenty of time in the pocket, can't make a decision, forced to the sideline, and throws a quick one to Mitchell Evans. That's going to be a completion for the Irish after a long time. About a 2-yard gain after a lot of decision-making there for Riley Leonard. Not a lot of options open.
Yeah, got something out of nothing there. But again, that's Riley Leonard's decision-making where, to you and I, we're way up high. We can see a lot. Looks like the pocket's holding up nicely there a little bit, and he decides to roll out and escape, right? I'm not sure, right? I don't even know what to say, right?
Absolutely.
Something to keep an eye on.
Yes. Price stays in the backfield for the Irish as Leonard is going to bring it back to pass once more, throws one at the sideline. Wow, takes a risky play there on a very, very covered Jaden Thomas, but the ball is behind him enough to where it's just an incompletion as it is yet again 3rd and long.
And that ball was just dangerously underthrown.
Yeah, Terry and Grant with fantastic coverage of Thomas there. A bold decision and a bold throw by Riley Leonard as the crowd is rowdy for this 3rd and 8 play for the Irish. Empty backfield on this 3rd and long. 5:14 to play. Let's see what is drawn up here. Anais Williams now motions into the backfield. Mitchell Evans runs across, sets a block, ends up being a run to Williams, who gets his feet under him and maybe gets that first down.
He got it.
A fantastic run. Gritty takes on 2 Boilermakers and forces himself over that first down yard line. 9-yard gain. That's going to move the chains for the Irish.
And Aeneas Williams, they throw him in there on 3rd down against NIU, and it'd basically be a cue. They're going to pass the ball here, right? He's a true freshman. You're not going to see him get a lot of snaps, period, let alone handoffs. But 4-star coming in from Hannibal, Missouri. I mean, Irish fans are really excited about him. Didn't expect him to get the ball on 3rd and long, though.
Yeah, and he stays out there for this fresh set of downs with 4.5 to play. Ryan Leonard flips a quick one out. That's going to be Eli Raridan again, getting a lot of action on this drive. A solid, maybe 6-yard gain there for the Irish, which just, a good first down. Wow, 9-yard gain. Wow. Raridan really extended the ball there going out of bounds.
Yep, he had 5 receptions all of last year. He's got 2 already in this ballgame.
Absolutely. Love to see him getting in the mix. Not seeing a lot of Cooper Flanagan, who is out there in the slot right now, but we've seen a lot more of Raridan and then, of course, Mitchell Evans. Let's see if Flanagan can get in the mix here as Aeneas Williams stays in the backfield for the Irish. Flanagan goes in motion. Sets back out wide. Leonard, quick flip outside to Jaden Thomas, who makes a move, cuts inside before being brought down. Wow! Stays on his feet long enough to get a couple extra yards, being met with 2 Boilermakers. 13-yard gain. The Irish move the chains once again on 2nd and 1.
And that's notable because the guy that Thomas dodged there is Dylan Thieneman, the all-world safety for Purdue. He was freshman All-American, freshman Defensive Player of the Year, and Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year in the secondary for Purdue.
A great move by Leonard, too, to duck around a leaping defender, change the arm angle to get that ball out.
That's what you like to see as the Irish are putting together a fantastic drive. They're now on the Purdue 15-yard line with Jeremiah Love in the backfield. He's going to get the carry, and he's going to jut up that middle before being met with 4 Boilermakers, brought down at about the 9-yard line, maybe the 8. 7-yard gain for the Irish. 2nd and 3. I mean, this is just an efficient drive we're seeing here, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is their best drive yet. I mean, and now they're kind of in a position where they could take some time, and they've got a quiet Purdue fan base right in front of the student section here. They've quieted this crowd right now.
79 rushing yards and a touchdown already for Love in this first quarter alone.
Yeah, on just 15 carries last week, there was a combined 103 yards. Really, really, really great stuff early. Draw from Leonard, keeps it, rushes up the middle, met around the 3-yard line. A fantastic draw there, 5-yard gain. The ball is on the Purdue 3 as the clock falls below 2.5 to play in this first quarter.
Well, we were worrying about Billy Shrouth exiting the game. The Irish offensive line has held up since his exit on this drive quite well as well.
Yes. Spindler now in the game at the right guard position. And, I mean, maybe there's a reason he started 10 games last year. He's holding up very well on that draw play. Jeremiah Love in the backfield, now motions out wide as Leonard will have an empty backfield to keep the ball himself and find his way into the Boilermaker end zone. 13-0 Irish after just a beautiful drive by the Notre Dame offense there.
Yep, and you saw Notre Dame dig into all of their bag of tricks so far. We know that the long passing game isn't there, but we saw some short passes, right, that went for big gains. We saw Notre Dame dig into, 3 different running backs, and then Riley Leonard with the 2 draws at the end to walk it into the end zone. Great drive for Notre Dame all around.
3-yard touchdown run for Leonard, an 11-play, 82-yard drive that took 5 minutes and 43 seconds. Just methodical and precise and perfect for Notre Dame doing it on the ground.
Absolutely. Mitch Jeter now out for the extra point. Boots it up there, and that's going to be good as the Irish take a 14-0 lead against the Boilermakers. We will be right back after... Tyler Reidy.
Yep, they're going to keep it here with the TV, so they're going to go right into kickoff. So
let's do it.
We'll stay here. Why not?
Absolutely, let's do it. I mean, that's what I expected to see against NIU right there. Maybe we have one drive. You have to punt the ball, but, I mean, that was surgical. That was just a surgical drive where I feel everything worked for the Irish that they wanted to work. Everything they thought was going to happen there happened, and they're just having their way with this Purdue defense so far.
Yeah, and you know what I really saw there was an athletic Irish offense. I mean, you saw a number of broken tackles, that midfield, I don't even know what to call it, switch by Jeremiah Love. It was impressive athleticism from Notre Dame, and I mean, that is one of their strengths as an offense for all of the shortcomings we talk about, is they have some athletic skill players, and they made use of them well on that drive.
Notre Dame currently outgaining Purdue 169-29 overall, 122-8 on the ground.
Which is, I mean, I believe better than the whole game last week. I could be wrong.
There were 103 total rush yards for the Irish as Jeter boots the ball back to the Boilermakers. who's going to take it out from the 1 yard line, lined up here, and a great tackle around the about the 16 yard line there. Really, really, really great tackle by number 37 for the Irish there. But absolutely, 103 yards total last week, 122 in this first quarter for Notre Dame with about a minute 49 to play.
Yeah, that was the statement they needed, right? I mean, as much of this is technical, there's a lot of this that's mental too. I mean, especially for this Notre Dame team, we know they have talent. How much of it is mental? Establishing that early momentum, it's key in this one.
Most definitely, as Hudson Card gets his gentleman back out on the field. Going to be a fake handoff to start. Oh, and a pass up the middle, and he's got Green in front of him, and he rushes across that first down marker around the 40-yard line. That's going to be tight end number Max Clare, number 86 right there. 21-yard gain for Purdue. They go for the no-huddle, quick offense there, and into the handoff that's still met quickly by that defensive line of the Irish. Maybe about a 3-yard gain there.
5 receptions for 71 yards and a touchdown last time out for Max Clare. You're going to see Purdue rely on their tight ends quite a bit in this one.
Yeah, we've already seen Drew Biber as well.
Yep.
A good 1-2 tight end attack for the Boilermakers as Maccabee is back in the backfield as he motions out wide, leaving Hudson Card alone, snaps the ball, drops back to pass, got time, finds. Wow, the ball might be out there. Max Clare was hit again in the slant, but a massive hit laid.
I think Jalen Grant hopped on it for Purdue.
Jalen Grant. It looks like it's going to stay Purdue ball, but a massive hit laid there by, I think, Xavier Watts maybe.
We're going to get a good look right here. Yep. No.
Jalen Sneed.
Sneed with lays the boom on Max Clare, but it's going to stay with the Boilermakers as Maccabee and Card will remain in the backfield.
The backup center, Jalen Grant, who saves the day for Purdue.
Card snaps the ball, drops back to pass, rush quickly, lobs one up and over the head of Max Clare. The ball falls incomplete with, no options there.
Boubacar Traore was in his grill right there.
Absolutely. Yep. Jaden Mickey almost.
I was sniffing around the Jaden Mickey interception there.
Yeah, Jaden Mickey almost close enough for that ball. But the ball falls incomplete as it will become 4th and 8 there. But, Purdue, the Boilermakers sending out the punt team here.
Yeah.
Giving the ball back to the Irish. Greathouse back to receive the punt with just 30 seconds left to play in this opening quarter in West Lafayette. The punt is up, off cleanly, back to Greathouse, fair catch, and secures it cleanly around the 18-yard line once again there. Very similar to what we saw on that last drive for the Irish, as they will get the ball back with just a few seconds left to play in this opening quarter.
Purdue drives so far in this one. 5 plays, 2 minutes and 34 seconds, 24 yards. 3 plays, -5 yards, a minute and 9. They haven't even loaded the time. Now they have 4 plays, 24 yards, minute and 24. That's about as good as you can ask for this Notre Dame defense right now.
Yeah, I would absolutely say the Boilermaker offense not allowed to find a rhythm.
Not at
all. I think we've seen a lot from both the secondary and the front seven, but I would say more improvement from the front seven from last week.
And we haven't seen any of those downfield looks yet, right? They haven't even had an opportunity to take a shot.
Yeah, as Tyler mentioned, 83-yard touchdown on NIU's opening drive last week. None of that this week, as Jadarian Price is in the backfield for the Irish, as Leonard has his offense out once again. Going to be a clean handoff to Price, working his way up the left side, met quickly, maybe a 1-yard gain with forward progress there. 2nd and 9 loading in for the Irish with just as the clock counts down to end this first quarter here. 2nd and 10 for the Irish. And nope, okay, there it is. Finally they updated. 2nd and 8. I was right the first time. As the clock runs out on this first quarter, we will be back with more action and a second quarter coming to you right after this break. All right, we are back for second quarter action. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish, 18th ranked, taking on the Purdue Boilermakers here in West Lafayette, Indiana. Fresh quarter, 2nd and 8 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish offense. with the ball on the 20-yard line. Switch the field, going the other way. But that's no different as Riley Leonard stays out on the field. It looks like, I think we may have Jadarian Price staying out there in the backfield for this drive. I mean, mostly just looking to keep going what they did in that first quarter are the Irish with a 14-0 lead as they start this second quarter. Jadarian Price motions out wide as Leonard is left with an empty backfield, keeps it himself, but quickly taken down at around the 21-yard line by a handful of Boilermakers.
This I'd more classify as a third and manageable, right? But the Irish have gotten away with third and longs a couple of times on that last scoring drive. I still just don't like to see them in it. I just don't, right? And again, Leonard doesn't really have a lot of room there, so I don't know if that's a design draw. It seemed a little more awkward than that was the intended play, right?
Yes, this is a 3rd and 6. So a 3rd and medium here for the Irish on the 22-yard line, looking to make something happen to extend this opening drive of the second quarter. Leonard now drops back to pass, looking to his right, has to make a move, scrambles out on the near side of the field and is brushed out of bounds, not well short of that first down marker, I think, at around the 24, 25, 26-yard line. Looks like it might be a punt alert for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish here. That was another sort of awkward play that devolved into a Riley Leonard run there.
Again, like, the vision seems developmental. I think that's what we're seeing here today, right? He has been good. He's led 2 very good drives. But I think generally my takeaway, and not to make this game a commentary on him, but that's what it would be. Oh,
absolutely, as Rendell sends a punt down to the Purdue about 38-yard line as they'll start this drive from just about the 38. Hudson Card gonna get it back. I think much of this quarter will be doing the same, Ryan, especially on the defensive side of the ball for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Say that again.
I said this quarter will be much of attempting to do the same.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I was not following what you were saying.
No worries
there.
at all.
Apologies, that's on me. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more. I mean, that was a really good first quarter for Notre Dame. If you're going to want to do exactly what you did in the first. I mean, I thought the questions that we came into the game with about the defensive line, not one quarter of football is going to resolve those questions, right? But they showed me what I needed to see, right? And Purdue unable to establish anything in the air either. Great first quarter from Notre Dame.
Absolutely. R.J. Oben and Riley Mills, who had been such question marks on the defensive line for the Irish, playing fantastic football, and a couple big plays by Jalen Sneed and Jaden Mickey, sort of, names that are less surprising.
Yeah, and one area I'm looking at too, right? And again, it's early, right? But Notre Dame's third down defense was especially poor, I thought, against NIU. It was something like, 6 of 15, something like that on third down. NIU was. It wasn't great.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, 6 of 16.
Yeah.
And Notre Dame so far, they've just forced three and outs, right? And have made it third and long each time for Purdue, which, again, NIU able to get into those third and manageable, third and shorts, where the Notre Dame defensive line had some issues exposed, right? Purdue hasn't gotten themselves in that position of success so far. Much to do with the way I think that defensive line has played so far.
Absolutely. That has been the difference here, is what we saw last week in South Bend was the Huskies able to do what they wanted, I mean, most heartbreakingly on the ground, where they could push around that defensive line of the Irish, but it appears that Marcus Freeman has his gents ready for this Boilermaker offense, to where nothing has been given out. Haven't really seen, too much of a huge play there for the Boilermakers at all, or on the Irish side of the ball, but they're just managing the game incredibly well.
I'd like to see Purdue do this drive.
Please.
Bang the drum.
Sure.
That's what they got to do, right? They got to establish a rhythm. And honestly, I'm curious to see what Mockabee and Love can put together on the ground. I mean, I really am. Love the transfer from Illinois. Mockabee, a former walk-on.
Really?
He's 132 yards away from 2,000 yards, which would be 14th in Purdue history, the 14th player to reach 2,000 yards in Purdue history. He's got some skill back there.
Let's see what Love does here on first down. Handoff to him. Met quickly at about the 42 or about the 40-yard line. About a two-yard gain for the Boilermakers there on the ground. They keep with Reggie Love III in the backfield. Not much to kick off that drive. That front seven holding incredibly strong for the Irish. Taken down there. Donovan Heinisch in the game right now on the defensive line. As they're in the backfield quickly, the ball is fired in and ends up being caught by Denylon Morissette, but the Irish were in the backfield quickly there on just a 3-yard gain for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, Jack Kaiser came flying around the edge, and then Jordan Clark, he jumped the route. I mean, he had a chance for a pick there. Morissette kind of hauled it in right by Clark's legs, it looked like.
Yeah, and Kaiser was able to even lay a bit of a hit on Hudson Card, see if that shakes him up at all. As Love stays on the backfield, Card will drop back to pass. Oh, and a missed sack there, but the Irish end up getting him at around the 30-yard line. That's going to be a huge loss and a massive sack for Heinisch there, who comes in the game and makes a huge play with Riley Mills. 13-yard loss for the Boilermakers as the Irish will force yet another punt from the Boilermakers.
Might have been Heinisch who finished it off, but Jordan Botello was in there first. He was the guy who came flying around. This time, the left side of Purdue's offensive line. We've seen Notre Dame get a lot of pressure on Hudson Card, and it's been what's really been the death knell of Purdue's drive so far. Great to see Jordan Botello.
Yeah, Botello.
Kind of waiting for him to arrive, right?
Yes.
And that was a big play for him.
Huge play for him. Him and Heinisch might get something there, but definitely Botello's play as Greathouse brings the ball out from about the 25-yard line before being quickly forced out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. The Irish will start this drive from fresh set of downs after just another amazing defensive stronghold from Notre Dame to start that off. 45-yard punt with just an 8-yard return starting the drive at the 43. I think we are going to take a quick break here just as the television is. Do not change that channel. We'll be back in just a second. We are back with 11:40 to play in this first half action of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish visiting the Purdue Boilermakers. Notre Dame holding on to that 14-0 lead with two fantastic drives. Now looking to see if they can put together a third one to make that score all the more higher. I don't know. Anyway, Cooper Flanagan out there.
I thought it sounded great, Ben.
yeah, thanks. Great vocab there.
Last I checked, higher is a word.
Okay, good. And there's a handoff there to, I believe that's going to be Jeremiah Love, who is brought down quickly after about a 2-yard gain on their own 32-yard line. Merely a 1-yard gain. So, I've been informed, as there's 11 and a half to play in the first quarter.
Some relevant news from the Notre Dame on the offensive side of the ball. Notre Dame just announced Billy Shrout is out for the rest of the game.
Not
Kramer from Athletics Comms coming over here just letting us know that, so we appreciate her coming over and keeping us in the know. But Shrout is out.
Spindler will be holding down that right guard position as the Irish have a man in motion, and Riley Leonard drops back to pass and hits him quickly, spin move, but he's brought down after about a 6-yard gain. Bo Collins there, great motion into a nice reception.
Yeah, Notre Dame really been spreading the ball around on the reception side. Raridan has 2. Collins now has 2 as well.
Yeah, not seeing one guy emerge, but, it takes a village. It takes a village.
Yeah, I'll get a thought on that, but this is a big third down here for Notre Dame right now.
This is a massive third down with 3rd and 6 to go, 10.5 to play in the first half. Jeremiah Love returns to the backfield after being out wide. Freeman not liking what he was seeing.
Something was very wrong there. Mike Denrock was probably almost out to the numerals on the sideline, yelling at his offense, and Notre Dame forced to call a timeout. Marcus Freeman doesn't look happy.
I don't know that anyone knew what was going on there. The noise of the Purdue crowd really playing a factor there as Jeremiah Love starts out wide and hurries to the backfield before the timeout is called. And once again, we are going to take a quick break here with your TV sets. Don't go anywhere. 10.5 to play. Irish lead 14-0. All right, we are back. Just about 30 seconds left of this TV timeout. Ryan, you wanted to talk about this. We just saw a Purdue student miss a bunch of field goals. What was going on there?
Well, I mean, I had both a serious comment to make, and then I saw that, and I was like, oh, but that's a fun story, too. So last week, they had a student here. There's a field goal kicking contest they have here. If you kick all 3 field goals from different distances, you can win a 2-year car lease. Last week, Zachary Spangler, Purdue junior, he successfully kicked the 20, the 30, and the 40-yard field goals, won the 2-year car lease, and the auto group that gives it was like, nope, sorry.
Wow.
And the fans were really unhappy about it, so they ended up reneging and offering him $5,000 cash. That's really what you needed to hear before a big third down here. I don't know, but it's fun.
3rd and 6 for the Irish, 10.5 to play as Leonard has Jadarian Price in his backfield. Clapping away, and once again, the Irish looking towards the sidelines. 12 seconds to go on the play clock, 10 here. Let's see if Leonard can get the snap off with the Purdue student section making a difference here. Still looking for it. 2 seconds to play. It's not going to happen. They get the ball off. Flags don't fly. He's got Mitchell Evans on the right sideline who extends the ball for the first down. Just about the 44-yard line. Going the other way. 6-yard gain. Gonna get that first down. I don't know if the Irish got the ball off there, but we'll take it.
Looking both at the play clock on the field and CBS here, it looked like they did not get that off in time, and that might have been a major missed call. Great to see Mitchell Evans come through. Yeah, but that was the loudest this building has been all day, and Notre Dame having a little bit of issues with it.
Absolutely having trouble with it. Jadarian Price now in the backfield for this fresh set of downs as the clock goes below 10 minutes to play. A pitch now as Jeremiah Love comes across the field, and he gets over the 50-yard line for a huge first down gain. Going to get a fresh set of downs once again. 14-yard gain on that reverse there from Jeremiah Love. He came flying across the field. I didn't even see who it was.
That's a pass play.
Yeah,
really.
He is a one-man wrecking crew right now, though. I mean, he has looked like the best player on the offensive side of the ball for the Irish. Not even close.
14-yard gain there on a pass play. Might be the longest pass of the season. I don't know. But we've got Jeremiah
5 yards
short. Okay. Jeremiah Love in the backfield there. He's going to get the handoff. Going up the left side, he breaks a tackle and takes a few guys with him for a few yards before being dragged down at about the 35-yard line. 10-yard gain for yet another movement of the chains for this Irish offense. 3 big plays in a row there.
Yeah, we saw Notre Dame struggling with their communication, forced to maybe take that timeout earlier than they would have liked to. Vaguely reminiscent of something that was a big piece of that NIU loss. You don't have any communications worries when you know you're handing the ball off to Jeremiah Love and he's going to get you a first down.
Absolutely. Jadarian Price now in the backfield, however. Riley Leonard fakes a screen pass, tries to get one off to Price, but that's going to hit the ground and incomplete before Price could come up with it. Incomplete. Was looking for about a 3-yard pass. Not going to get it off. We're going to see 2nd and 10 for, one of the first times this drive.
That was an exotic play design right
there.
there.
It really was. I don't really know what Jaden Harrison came and almost did a loop around the quarterback and running back
before,
and went back out to the left side. Yeah.
Interesting play. Faked a screen pass before throwing one into the shoes of Jadarian Price. Riley Leonard will have Price in his backfield again on 2nd and 10. 8.5 to play here. He's going to keep the ball himself. A great option that is going to work out as Leonard streaks up the sidelines and stays in bounds until the 10-yard line. Stiff arms of Purdue Boilermaker and is into the end zone. And an insane play. 34-yard touchdown run from Riley Leonard, who looked like he was going to get forced out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Ends up in the end zone after breaking a tackle or two on his way to a scoring play for the Irish.
Yeah, he fooled me, and he clearly fooled the Purdue defense as well. That was a great design run for Riley Leonard. He kind of leaks out the back there. Jadarian Price goes right in. He draws everyone to him. And Leonard, it's the breaking the tackle down inside the 10. That's the impressive part of that run. Talked earlier in the broadcast about his athleticism, though. Again, showing it off there. That's why the Irish believe in this guy. If you had any questions about it, that's why. And let's go Irish ringing out here at Ross Adams
Touchdown call has been confirmed, it looks like.
20-0 in favor of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Mitch Jeter now trying to secure that 3-touchdown lead to get it to 21 with 8:24 to play left in the game. The ball is up, and that's going to be good. Excuse me. I mean, I thought he was out of bounds at about the 25. He ends up staying on his feet. Evidently, that non-throwing labrum, Ryan, not really an issue today.
No, but he actually uses that arm. I mean, that's his inside arm, right?
Yep.
Or maybe it's outside arm, but
that's
not a problem. I mean, listen, I really want to drive that point home, right? A lot of questions this week about why does Notre Dame believe in Riley Leonard? Why is Marcus Freeman trotting out there after Leonard struggles and saying, he's our guy, we're going to hitch our cart to his ox? Why? That's why. This guy is an athlete. He has some special skills on the ground. Notre Dame's willing to take their chances that they can develop not only a strong run game around him, right, but they can develop his arm a little bit more to open up the offense. Right now, the athleticism is working, and it's something we didn't see against NIU. I think it's fair to question why, don't get me wrong. But if you're looking for an answer to why Notre Dame trusts this guy, that's why.
Absolutely. Another long drive there for the Irish. 7 plays, 68 yards, 3 minutes and 16 seconds. The defense, getting great breaks. That drive over 3 minutes. The one before that, nearly 6 minutes. They're getting time to stay fresh as the kickoff from Mitch Jeter.
Holy, what the
heck? Is out of the end zone.
He almost kicked that into the stands.
That went 20 yards beyond the back line of the end zone. That was a laser beam.
I mean, and there's distance, right? There's the end of the end zone, but the stands don't start there. There's about this track oval
that's in
the back.
That's into the band at Notre Dame Stadium.
Absolutely. I think there was a bit of a breeze. I think the breeze is coming, again, right to left across your radio the way Jeter was kicking there, but not that much.
Oh, some Siegfried Hall residents on the Jumbotron right there. Sorry. Yeah, there's a reason we tried for a 62-yarder last week. I don't know how that 62-yarder went last week. I don't remember. But there's a reason we talked about there as Hudson Card ducks one out, and it's dropped by the Boilermaker receiver on first down with 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play.
As Erden drops that.
Yeah, Jamal Erden with pretty much a clean drop there. Leaving the Boilermakers was 2nd and 10.
You got to have that if you're Erden there. I think, again, they're going to need him to be a part of a success. If they're going to have any success against a very difficult schedule this year. I'll finish that thought in a minute.
Christian Gray on the coverage there. The ball is snapped. Card drops back to pass, but is flooded in the backfield before being brought down.
Jason Anye got in there, and there are a myriad of Irish players. There's also an Irish player down on the field right now.
Oh, no.
Patello.
No.
It is Patello.
Jordan Patello down on the field would be a second crucial loss for the Irish to injury in just this game. Patello with that massive play comes swooping in on that sack there earlier in the game. This would be a devastating loss to that defensive front seven.
He was grasping his right knee and shin as he went down.
So, you were down at Texas A&M.
Okay.
It was hot down there.
Yeah.
It's hot out here right now.
Yeah, it's hotter here than it was down there now.
I would say so, right? But so much was made in that game of Notre Dame's physical fitness, and to me this doesn't look like cramping. Obviously we know it's not now with Billy Shroud. He's out for the game, right? But this is really the first time this year that we've seen Notre Dame players consistently down. I know they picked up some injuries last week. Joshua Burnham was ruled out just before the game. But a lot was made after week 1 at Texas A&M of Notre Dame's physical fitness.
Yeah, the cart has already been driven out for Patello right here. And
yeah,
to your point, Notre Dame won that Texas A&M game in large part to that.
Right.
They didn't wear down late in the tie game. The Aggies did. And, injuries like this aren't always a sign of whether a team is physically fit or not. If you end up in a position where you're going to get hurt, everybody's body is human. You're going to get hurt in that situation.
Right.
And we already saw Billy Schroth get rolled up on the line, and Patello, we haven't had a great look at that replay. But he was just kind of getting pinned down to the ground by the lineman as he was turning the corner, and that cart is going to take him off as, once again, it seems to be a right leg concern by the look of Patello's limp in the short distance to that cart. Not good.
Yeah, on the Notre Dame team, many of the players on the defensive side of the ball crowding around that cart right now, making sure they check in with Botello, giving him pats on the shoulder pads. But concern for Notre Dame, maybe an encouraging sign is that the guy that's backing him up is Boubacar Traore, and he has looked pretty good to start the year so far, right? He's young, just a sophomore, true sophomore from Boston, Mass, but was looking through the first 2 games of the season as a potential breakout player for Notre Dame. But
absolutely.
Obviously, you feel for Jordan Botello in his graduate season here at Notre Dame.
Absolutely praying that is minor, as the Irish defense lines up without him. Now, with just about 8 minutes to play in this first half, they've got Maccabee, the Boilermakers have Maccabee back in the backfield with Hudson Card. As they send someone in motion, Card drops back to pass, looking for something, throws in the middle of the field, and that's going to be a completion to Claire there.
Double coverage.
Into double coverage, slots that ball in between 2 converging Irish defensemen for a 14-yard gain.
I don't even need to see a replay to know that I think he had better options there. And he still throws it into double coverage. Great catch by Claire. Composure out there across the 30-yard line.
But that is not going to get the job done for the Boilermakers on that third down. It will now be 4th and 5 as they'll send it back to the Irish. And Jaden Greathouse at around the 26-yard line there with 7 minutes to play in this first half. The ball's up clean. A deep punt. Greathouse runs to fair catch it at about the 22-yard line. 7 minutes to go. They're going to keep rolling into this Irish offensive drive. 21-0, so the lead stays padded. Definitely a hurt to the spirit there with Jordan Botello going down, who has played a fantastic game today. But this Irish offense remaining seemingly at full strength with Spindler in the mix there at right guard. But we'll see what Riley Leonard and the boys have for the Boilermaker defense on this drive.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, the mandate remains the same, right? This is as comfortable as we've seen them look on the offensive side of the ball in a football game so far. And you want it to stay that way, right? Comfortable is the word.
Easily, as there's a fake pitch to Price, and it's going to come around with a reverse backwards to Jaden Thomas, who's met it around the 24-yard line before being brought down for a 1-yard gain. Another creative play design. Whistles are blown. No. Another.
Ashton Craig, the center's hurt.
Ashton Craig, starting center for the Irish, who has not really been a point of concern, has been playing especially well today. He's now down on the field. This would be the second starting offensive lineman for the Irish going down today, with backing up Ashton Craig being Pat Coogan.
Did you see it on the video board?
I
just missed
look.
it, but the crowd just reacted, and it was a collective cringe of 60,000 people, and you could hear it. And Marcus Freeman's walked all the way across the field. This play happened on the near side of the field. Craig's just about a couple yards away from the numerals on the near side of the field, which is where the Purdue sideline is.
Left leg for Ashton Craig, it looks like, and immediately Pat Coogan is up and taking practice snaps to Riley Leonard in front of the Notre Dame sideline.
And this is why Notre Dame moved Coogan to, he wasn't a center by trade, right?
Oh, yep, rolled up on again from behind.
Ouch.
Oh,
Ouch.
man.
Ouch.
I really hope he got his left foot out of a planted position in time. It looks like he did.
Seems to be walking off the field
because
way more comfortably than Botello.
I've not seen a leg do that.
Or Schrouth. I mean, that was an ugly play. And he seems to be walking off, with some support. He's not alone. But it's definitely more of his own power than either of the previous injuries.
We just saw a shot from the television broadcast. Billy Schrouth out of the jersey, out of the shoulder pads, and walking around the sideline on crutches. So that's not great.
Never. What you want to see as Pat Coogan enters the game, number 78. New center as Jadarian Price takes the backfield for the Irish. A motion by Jaden Thomas goes back out. Riley Leonard keeps it himself on a draw, and it gets about 5 yards, spinning past a Boilermaker defender to extend the play. Another third down here. The crowd starting to get loud in this capacity of about 61,000. Let's see what the Irish have drawn up for a 3rd and 3 with the ball on the 30-yard line with about 6:15 to play in the first half of action here. Jadarian Price remains the back of the backfield. Leonard clapping away, gets the snap off, drops back to pass. He's got Thomas. Thomas comes up with it, and he's got Green in front of him at the 40-yard line. Makes a move at the 50 before being forced down at about the 54-yard line. Fantastic play design there. Thomas wide open on the far side of the field, is able to come up with the reception and extend the play for a big, big gain for the Irish to move those chains and keep the clock moving in this first half.
All the way to the Purdue 47. That was a 23-yard pitch and catch right there.
Thomas is such a big part of Notre Dame's offense last year, one of their leading receivers. Only, 2 targets at Texas A&M, and 2 targets against NIU, and one of 2 on Texas A&M as well. So nice to see him break out for a big play.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of action today. Reared on the field, but it's going to be a handoff to Jadarian Price, who slams it up the middle to about the 50, 54-yard line, about a 5-yard gain there for the Irish as the clock ticks down to about 5 minutes to go in this first half of action.
What's 2nd and 5 from the 42, it looks like here.
Yep. 2nd and 5, 42-yard line for the Irish offense. Still avoiding those long 3rd downs right now. What you want to see as Jadarian Price remains in the backfield. Jaden Thomas out wide with Jaden Harrison. Thomas cuts in, makes his way back out. Leonard keeps it himself, drops back to pass, looking for something, fires one to Jaden Thomas, and that's going to be, called no catch. Seems like the ball hit the ground before it got to Thomas. Had to fire one in there to double coverage to get the ball to Thomas over the middle of the field. Not going to be the gain we're looking for. Brings up 3rd and 5, 3rd and medium there for the Irish at the 42-yard line. 4.5 to play in this first half. Empty backfield in the set for the 3rd and 5 here. Purdue's got their train whistle blowing as the Irish have 4 out wide and Mitchell Evans in the slot for this 3rd down try. In motion goes Jeremiah Love, who cuts back out. Leonard has got plenty of time looking for options there. Can't find anything. Going to keep it himself and run it for the first down over the 40-yard line, over the 45, and into about the 30-yard line, extending the play for another first down, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's probably got that first down no matter what. They just, that's where Leonard kind of chooses the hard way, right? I mean, he has options. Particularly Jeremiah Love leaking out that right side. I mean, there's no one in coverage on him. Leonard just doesn't see him, and still makes the first down marker. I mean,
I think that's where you question, how much is that going to work against not Purdue?
Yes,
that's sort of the question as the clock goes below 4 minutes on a fresh set of downs for the Irish. The ball, it's a handoff to Jadarian Price, who's brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Going to be a tackle for loss, most likely here at around the 30-yard line with 3.5 to play.
Jamarje Lewis busting through the offensive line there for Purdue.
Big tackle. One of the first real tackles for loss, or sort of, plays that are truly broken on the Irish offensive side of the ball today.
The first tackle for loss or sack today.
Knew it.
For Purdue, that is. Irish have 2 TFLs.
Yes. Which, adding that total to 8.
Half their previous total.
So 3 minutes to play as Leonard drops back to pass. Fires one up. He's got Bo Collins. The throw isn't there. Bo Collins streaking up the left sideline at about the 10-yard line. He had beat his man, and the ball was not there to meet him.
But the reason for that, Murph, I think Leonard got hit by his own man.
Yeah, he got hit as he was throwing. We're going to get a good look at it here. And he did. Who backed up in him?
I think that was Spindler.
No, it was left tackle Anthony Knapp. He got pushed back right into Leonard's lap.
You're right.
Wow.
And he's just thrown off balance, right? He looked like he was on his heels there, Knapp was.
Just enough to prevent a massive play for the Irish.
Which, considering, not a terrible throw.
No. Yeah. A lot of questions about Leonard's arm. That one not really on him. As we see Williams in the backfield to block. Going to get a pass off to Mitchell Evans up the left side, who breaks a tackle, spins past another one. Bobbed by 2. Purdue Boilermakers brought down at around the 12-yard line. Another great play, breaks a tackle, spins past another one before having to be attacked by 3 defenders to be finally brought down up the left sideline.
Yep, he breaks the tackle of journeyman transfer Kindrich Breedlove, transfer from Colorado. Previously was at Ole Miss. You don't really see journeyman in college sports. Now you do. And then again, Dylan Thieneman, really the 2 times we've noticed him today, he's not been on the right side of the outcome. One of the stars of this Purdue defense.
Darian Price in the backfield. Bo Collins in motion. Leonard gets the snap on the option, keeps it himself up the right sideline, makes a man miss, and jumps over another one for an Irish touchdown. An amazing 10-yard run, 13-yard run for another Leonard rushing touchdown there. Makes an incredible juke there where a Boilermaker just falls out of his cleats and then leaps over another defender for the touchdown. I would say that labrum injury not really a hindrance today.
I think he's okay. Athlete. Yes. I mean, this is the kind of quarterback that we have not seen. This kind of running quarterback is not something that we've seen for Notre Dame in a few years. I'm trying to think back. Maybe
Brandon Wimbush.
Wimbush, right? That would
maybe
be it.
That's generous, as Mitch Jeter slots the extra point through the uprights to extend the Irish lead to 28-0. With 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play, we're going to get the 2-minute warning quickly here after the kickoff. But, I mean, just another surgical drive for the Irish. 10 plays, 77 yards, 4 minutes and 54 seconds. The Irish giving their defense a great amount of rest in this game where no drive has been sub 3.5 minutes, really, to where you're not exhausting this defense. Yep. They're putting together chunk by chunk great plays.
And that was a big part of that NIU loss, is that the defense felt like they were on the field the entire game.
For an Irish defense that felt like it got pushed around in that NIU game, gave up 14 points. Not exactly a mountain of points there that the Irish could not overcome.
By the way, Riley Leonard has 32 fantasy points. For those keeping score at home, 11 carries,
in
100 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. And all 3 of them, he has just
hope all you
dominated
college football fantasy sickos started him this week.
Absolutely. As Jeter, kicks a field goal on the kickoff once again for a touchback to start the Boilermaker drive. So once again, 28-0 lead for the Irish, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the second quarter.
I know we got a good vibe up here right now, and down there they're probably feeling pretty good too, but I want to introduce a concept that classics majors will love. Wow. The Pyrrhic victory.
When you enlighten us.
Right, yeah. When you win the battle, and it's looking like Notre Dame's looking pretty good right now, but you lose enough men that you're actually more damaged than potentially your opponent coming out of the game. I don't think that's necessarily what we're looking at here, but I think you need to keep that in mind, that all gets shaken out in postgame, right? But as good as Notre Dame's looked, they've taken some hits in this first half. It hasn't been on the scoreboard, but it's been, in terms of a personnel standpoint, more than they have in the last 2 games.
Absolutely. First full drive for the Irish without Jordan Botello here, with Hudson Card and Reggie Love in the backfield. Love's going to get a carry up the left side. He makes a man miss in the middle, but he's ultimately swallowed up there by Riley Mills. A great play for Riley Mills. Good to see him getting in the mix with a clean tackle. As we hit the 2-minute warning here, we will be back with more action to close out this first half in about 3 minutes. See you then. All right, as things go off the rails like the crazy train for the Boilermakers, we got to talk about the war in the trenches here, the game on the ground. The Irish with double the rush yards as last time at half the time, and the Purdue Boilermakers with -3 yards.
Yep, we came in with questions on the ground game for sure for both teams. We were a little concerned maybe about the decisions about usage for Love and Price. And, in this game they've used Aeneas Williams, Jade Thomas.
As the Boilermakers start off this drive with a handoff that's going to get them the first down, about 10-yard gain, maybe 12-yard gain, getting them to the 41-yard line, 39-yard line about, as the clock goes below 2 minutes for the first time in the first half.
Just as I was about to praise the Notre Dame defensive line.
There it is.
Front 7, maybe their worst snap of the game, honestly.
They heard you there. No huddle. No huddle for the Boilermakers as they move, as Love goes out wide. Card looking for something. Reidy goes there. Intercepted. That's going to be run back into the Boilermaker end zone for a pick six for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Boubacar Traore, who, of course, comes in for Jordan Botelho, who's injured. Botelho carted off, Traore into the end zone.
Comes in huge. Riley Mills there, I want to point out, was all over Hudson Card, forcing him to make that pass there right into the hands of Boubacar. Amazing stuff. The Irish now lead 34-0 with a minute and a half to play in the first half. Mitch Jeter trying to secure the 5 touchdown lead there.
I do not know what Hudson Card was.
I don't know what he was thinking
on that.
He's got 34-yard return there.
He's got no. It's not like Mills knocked the ball out.
Yeah, he was just all over him as Jeter slots it through the uprights.
And it's like this shovel to the sideline. I don't know if he's trying to get rid of it, get out of the bounds. There's only Notre Dame defenders over there.
Yeah.
It's odd.
It reminded me of that. If you were watching the NFL last Sunday, I guess there might be a lot of Chicago Bears fans in the Notre Dame fan base. That pick six Will Levis threw with Tennessee where he just kind of shoveled it out with the left hand out of the pocket and fell to his knees as it was being returned for an interception touchdown. I mean, that's exactly what that play was right there. Traore capitalized.
So, confirmation on Botelho and Craig both out for the rest of the game as well.
Dang it.
Not good news.
Not all that surprising.
The Craig one,
with Botelho.
Yeah, the Craig one is the one that sort of makes me nervous, where he was walking off under his own power mostly, and is still out for the rest of the game. So 2 backup offensive linemen here for the Irish in the second half.
Is Notre Dame? They're up 35-0 at half. Are you playing it safe? I mean, we can't tell those kind of things from here. We can't speculate, but not good news for Notre Dame, especially if it holds going forward.
As Jeter will send the ball back to Purdue, who will get another crack to maybe get on the board before this first half runs out. The ball is up again, and that's going to be into the end zone. Not even, but, I mean, the Boilermakers are not going to mess with it, and they're going to leave it alone. Let it be a touchback once again. Jeter really booting the ball around today. Kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a interesting subplot of this game, right? Is Mitch Jeter has been, I mean, let's see if I can get any numbers on it. I don't know if I'll be able to live, but he has been a cannon.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, as I look beyond the far right corner where the student section, there is a mass exodus down the staircase already. It's not even halftime. I mean, the students they've got better things to do.
Yeah.
They are sitting in the sun,
As Card throws a pass that is dropped by his tight end, Max Clare there.
They are celebrating 150 years of engineering at Purdue, and those guys get a lot of homework.
Let's see if they engineer some points today, Murph.
I mean, if it's anything like that glorious engineering fountain of theirs.
Stick around for more engineering and train puns in the second half.
Wow. That's how we market the football broadcast, as Card looks to pass again and just sails one out of bounds with a tight coverage there by Jordan Clark. No option there, thrown out of bounds, as we have a 3rd and 10 for the Boilermakers in just about 10 seconds of offense there. Not much they're getting, even with a 35-point lead for the Irish as the first half winds down.
I mean, I think they're going to snap the ball here, so I'm actually not going to weigh in, but after this I will.
All right, it looks like it's Maccabee in the backfield with Card. Let's see what they do. He takes it himself, but is immediately wrapped up by the Irish, fallen upon by Riley Mills was in there. Someone laid the initial hit there.
I think it was Howard Cross, got to him first.
Yes.
Howard Cross gets the initial tackle there as the punt alert is on for the Boilermakers.
I think we got to remember that this place can be a very hard place to play on certain given game days. And it's a credit to Notre Dame and the way they've played today, not just to score, but also the way they've handled the ball on offense, the way they've been really snuffed anything out on defense. They've made this not a hard place to play, right?
Yeah, as we just mentioned, with a good bit of the student section gone already, with Jaden Greathouse with another great fair catch right around the 40-yard line with just about 40 seconds to play in this first half. We're going to continue action here. Leonard, this is Leonard in the offense. This is just an extra little drive here. If we get if we get points out of this, that would be a gift.
Yeah,
might as well give it a go at this point. Up 35-0 on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, this is good. We saw Marcus Freeman at times use short time slots as essentially practice for his team, right? I don't expect Notre Dame to kind of.
Yeah, already
they're going to snap a few plays here.
Already, Devin Ford is out there on the field, in the backfield with Leonard, who drops back to pass here. Ford out to block. He's got a receiver who makes a move around the 50-yard line, and he's cutting across the field with Green in front of him before being tackled down by the Boilermakers. A flag flies, but an amazing reception there by Jaden Greathouse.
Yeah, that's going to be a hold against Notre Dame.
So that play is going to be coming back.
I didn't catch the name, of course, but let's see. We're going to get a replay here. Maybe we can give it to you. Yeah, it's going to be the left tackle, Knapp, just holding around that edge. So a good-looking play. Riley Leonard has more time than he might have had it not been a penalty, right?
Sure.
So you can't make much judgments, but that's exactly what Notre Dame should be using this time to get more reps, try some new things with the offense, which is, I hope, what we see in the second half. Notre Dame trying to open up that game through the air, which is, again, good first half. We haven't seen too much of that. They're going to need it going forward.
With Jadarian Price now back in the backfield after that Ford play, he gets a carry. He's looking for something. He's getting to the outside, and he's got Green in front of him around the 40-yard line. Makes a cut, makes a man miss. He's to the 40. He's to the 30, 20, 10. And he's into the end zone again for the Irish. Another amazing run play, this time by Jadarian Price. The Irish with a 70-yard running touchdown there to end this first half as the clock has 4 seconds remaining. We see 41 Irish points up on the board, on pace for an 84-point game right now. Jadarian Price with an amazing run there. What looked like it was going to be nothing at all. He gets to the outside, beats a man, and just never looks back as he weaves through that Purdue defense into the end zone.
Well, this is the response. This is a great downfield block by Cooper Flanagan. This is a response from Notre Dame. There's no question about it. Notre Dame fans, after the loss to NIU, they said Notre Dame needs to win on Saturday here in West Lafayette, and they need to win decisively. They're 30 minutes away from doing just that. And really, they've done it in the first 2 quarters of this football game.
Murph, where did we park on our way down to West Lafayette today?
West Lafayette High School, Lot V. I
believe that high school's team might have shown up in the black and gold today. This is rough for Purdue. They cannot make an open field tackle right now.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable with Leonard going down the sideline. Jeremiah Love has juked out about 1 million people, and Jadarian Price. They're going to run the ball. It's 70 yards away from the end zone. You still give it up. Notre Dame's downfield blocking has been great today, too. This is just remarkable that we were this line kept coming down in Purdue's favor. It was down, I think, Notre Dame favored by a touchdown going into the game today, and it's 42-0. What in the world? It's just another example of a Marcus Freeman coached team coming back from a devastating loss and just annihilating somebody. It was USC last year. Now it's Purdue.
Yep, USC post Louisville, Duke post Ohio State, Cal post Marshall, UNLV post Stanford. Marcus Freeman teams, they bounce back well. With 4 seconds to play, the Boilermakers will get maybe a playoff here before the end of this first half.
42 touchdown push-ups for the Notre Dame fans here in attendance in the first half.
In the first half alone, I see some still going over there.
They've been doing it for like 3 minutes now.
We talked about it a lot. The run game, that's what we wanted to see out of this Irish team coming into this game, and that's exactly what we've seen. Nearly 300 yards on the ground in the first half alone, spread around. We've seen 5 different people on the ground with the ball, including Leonard. But, just that's what the Irish needed as the Boilermakers rip off a nice run here. Maybe going to get them a first down on a carry there by Love. That's going to do it for the first half here. But, I mean, just an amazing start for the Irish.
Listen to the boos.
Right. It's eerily similar. I mean, totally different in every single other way, right? But, like, that sound is exactly the sound that Notre Dame heard coming off the field at the end of the first half last weekend against NIU. They hear it again in West Lafayette, but it's not directed at them. It's because of the beatdown they just put on the Boilermakers in the first half.
And Purdue's got some soul-searching to do, and they still have 30 more minutes of football to play out here. I mean, good grief. I mean, for a game that, you know, they kind of viewed as their early season Super Bowl. You know, Purdue's not expecting to make a deep playoff run this year or anything like that. They're just looking for improvement under Ryan Walters, and they obviously built this game up a ton with the return of the Notre Dame-Purdue rivalry. It's 42-0. Like, what a letdown for them on their side, but what a lift for the Irish.
Absolutely.
And this is a convincing sort of first two quarters of ball game that, like, Notre Dame couldn't come out today. And if they're looking to resuscitate their college football playoff hopes, they couldn't come out today and squeak one out, right? They'd still be there, but they wouldn't be like, all right, Notre Dame is here. Right now,
this was the decisive showing they needed to prove that they deserve to still be in this conversation of the college football playoff. Absolutely, gentlemen.
So, yeah, we'll take a break here for halftime. I'll be back at 5:30 p.m. for a halftime update. We'll give you a recap of all the stats. And the first half, it was all Notre Dame, just to preview it. And we'll take a look at some scores from around the country as well. A busy day in Week 3 for college football. But we'll take a break here.
Yeah, 42-0 in favor of the Irish. You'll be back with T. Reed in about 10 minutes. See you then.
We're back here at Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. It is 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and especially beautiful for the Notre Dame fans that have made the short trip down to West Lafayette. 42-0 the score, Fighting Irish out in front here in Week 3 of the college football season. And myself, Tyler Reidy, pleased to be joined now by Jacob Irons, who has made the short trip over from the Notre Dame Radio Network booth to stop by for halftime. Jake, a bunch of guys wearing gold helmets just derailed the train through the first half hour of this game. Your take on the first half here in West Lafayette?
Notre Dame answered a lot of the doubts that they had coming in off of NIU, and that's what they needed to do, understandably. How much pressure was on Marcus Freeman and on this Notre Dame football team in the 12-team playoff era, understanding that it's playoff or bust for this Notre Dame football team. And how can you quiet those doubters? How can you quiet the haters? And I'm going to quote Taylor Swift. Haters going to hate. Notre Dame's giving them a lot of reasons to hate if you hate Notre Dame. 42 points in a first half. It really quieted everybody down.
Well, the Irish have shaken off the loss from last week and are up 42-0. There's been a mass exodus of Purdue fans throughout halftime. The student section is down to probably about 20-25% capacity right now. We'll get you some facts and figures from the first half between Notre Dame and Purdue. The Irish up 42-0 on 3 rushing touchdowns by Riley Leonard. 11 carries, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Through the air, he has missed some chunk plays down the field, but he's been efficient. 11 for 16, 112 yards, on pace for his best passing game of the season, although we probably will not see him for the entire second half as the Irish filter in their backups.
And note for him, he still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet. Riley Leonard, although he looked really good on the ground, rushing in for a couple of touchdowns, he still hasn't connected. Longest pass of Notre Dame's passing attack so far in 2024, 23 yards to Jaden Thomas. So passing attack still looking to get going.
And on the ground for Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love has 6 carries for 90 yards and a 48-yard touchdown. Jadarian Price lifted his numbers big time with a 70-yard touchdown run at the end of the first half. He has 5 attempts for 77 yards and that score. On the Purdue side, the offense has not done a whole lot. Hudson Card, the quarterback, is 6 of 14 for 61 passing yards and a pick-6 interception to Boubacar Traore, responsible for, I guess, Notre Dame's first receiving touchdown of the season because he caught it, but on the defensive side and on the ground, Purdue has just 11 yards on 11 carries. It has been a slow day at the office for this Purdue offensive unit. We'll transition now to some scores from around the country. Just one top 25 matchup, rather 2 top 25 matchups have gone final so far. Missouri, playing at home, defeated Boston College. That was a 6-24 matchup in Columbia. 27-21 Tigers. Alabama went on the road to Wisconsin and just annihilated the Badgers at Camp Randall. 4th-ranked Crimson Tide 42, Wisconsin 10 on a big day for Jalen Milroe, the Bama quarterback. Oklahoma State, the 13th-ranked team in the land, went to Tulsa and won by a 45-10 score. Brian Kelly and the 16th-ranked LSU Tigers survived a close one with South Carolina. That was College Game Day's featured contest this week. 36-33 LSU, a winner at South Carolina on a late touchdown by Josh Williams. Michigan, another somewhat uncomfortable game against a mid-major opponent. 17th-ranked Wolverines defeat Arkansas State 28-18 in the Big House. Another top 25 matchup. 14th-ranked Kansas State over 20th-ranked Arizona, 31-7 in Manhattan. So Kansas State looking good, Mizzou looking good, Alabama looking great. Some ranked matchups that are going on right now, at least involving ranked teams. Oregon is at halftime against Oregon State in the Civil War. 22-14 Ducks in Corvallis as 9th-ranked Oregon holds the lead. 15th-ranked Oklahoma leading Tulane 21-6 at halftime. And 12th-ranked Utah early in their matchup with Utah State, but having some problems. Utah State leads the Utes 14-3, and Miami, Florida, the 10th-ranked team in the land out of the ACC, is currently in a delay hosting Ball State. Later tonight, we'll see a bunch of top 5 teams in matchup. Ole Miss will take on Wake Forest. Texas will host UTSA. And Georgia, the number 1 ranked team in the land, will visit Kentucky. Here it's 42-0 Notre Dame as we're just about 3 minutes away from the second half. I'll now hand it off to Ryan Murphy and Ben Rohr for further breakdown on how things have gone so far. A little preview of what we can expect to see in the second half. We're probably going to see plenty of new faces on both sides of the ball for Notre Dame, so a lot to get to as the Irish lead by 6 touchdowns. And in just a moment after this break, Ryan Murphy will have the call alongside Ben Rohr for the second half.
Heels there, Knapp was.
Just enough to prevent a massive play for the Irish.
Which, considering, not a terrible throw.
No. Yeah. A lot of questions about Leonard's arm. That one not really on him. As we see Williams in the backfield to block. Going to get a pass off to Mitchell Evans up the left side, who breaks a tackle, spins past another one. Bobbed by 2. Purdue Boilermakers brought down around the 12-yard line. Another great play, breaks a tackle, spins past another one before having to be attacked by 3 defenders to be finally brought down up the left sideline.
Yep, he breaks the tackle of journeyman transfer Kindrich Breedlove, transfer from Colorado. Previously was at Ole Miss. You don't really see journeyman in college sports. Now you do. And then again, Dylan Thieneman, really the 2 times we've noticed him today, he's not been on the right side of the outcome. One of the stars of this Purdue defense.
Darian Price in the backfield. Bo Collins in motion. Leonard gets the snap on the option, keeps it himself up the right sideline, makes a man miss, and jumps over another one for an Irish touchdown. An amazing 10-yard run, 13-yard run for another Leonard rushing touchdown there. Makes an incredible juke there where a Boilermaker just falls out of his cleats and then leaps over another defender for the touchdown. I would say that labrum injury not really a hindrance today.
I think he's okay. Athlete. Yes. I mean, this is the kind of quarterback that we have not seen. This kind of running quarterback is not something that we've seen for Notre Dame in a few years. I'm trying to think back. Maybe you're reading
Brandon Wimbush.
Wimbush, right? That would
maybe
be it.
That's generous as Mitch Jeter slots the extra point through the uprights to extend the Irish lead to 28-0. With 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play, we're going to get the 2-minute warning quickly here after the kickoff. But, I mean, just another surgical drive for the Irish. 10 plays, 77 yards, 4 minutes and 54 seconds. The Irish giving their defense a great amount of rest in this game where no drive has been sub 3.5 minutes, really, to where you're not exhausting this defense.
Yep.
They're putting together chunk by chunk great plays.
And that was a big part of that NIU loss, is that the defense felt like they were on the field the entire game.
For an Irish defense that felt like it got pushed around in that NIU game, gave up 14 points. Not exactly a mountain of points there that the Irish could not overcome.
By the way, Riley Leonard has 32 fantasy points. For those keeping score at home, 11 carries,
in the first
100
half.
rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. And all 3 of them, he has just
Hope all you
Dominated Purdue.
college football fantasy sickos started him this week.
Absolutely. As Jeter, kicks a field goal on the kickoff once again for a touchback to start the Boilermaker drive. So once again, 28-0 lead for the Irish, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the second quarter.
I know we got a good vibe up here right now, and down there they're probably feeling pretty good too, but I want to introduce a concept that classics majors will love. Wow. The Pyrrhic victory. When you
enlighten us.
Right,
Yeah.
when you win the battle, and it's looking like Notre Dame's looking pretty good right now, but you lose enough men that you're actually more damaged than potentially your opponent coming out of the game. I don't think that's necessarily what we're looking at here, but I think you need to keep that in mind, that'll get shaken out in postgame, right? But as good as Notre Dame's looked, they've taken some hits in this first half. It hasn't been on the scoreboard, but it's been, in terms of a personnel standpoint, more than they have in the last 2 games.
Absolutely. First full drive for the Irish without Jordan Botello here, with Hudson Card and Reggie Love in the backfield. Love's going to get a carry up the left side. He makes a man miss in the middle, but he's ultimately swallowed up there by Riley Mills. A great play for Riley Mills. Good to see him getting in the mix with a clean tackle. As we hit the 2-minute warning here, we will be back with more action to close out this first half in about 3 minutes. See you then. All right, as things go off the rails like the crazy train for the Boilermakers, we got to talk about the war in the trenches here, the game on the ground. The Irish with double the rush yards as last time at half the time, and the Purdue Boilermakers with -3 yards.
Yep, we came in with questions on the ground game for sure for both teams. We were a little concerned maybe about the decisions about usage for Love and Price. And, in this game they've used Aeneas Williams, Jade Thomas.
As the Boilermakers start off this drive with a handoff that's going to get them the first down, about 10-yard gain, maybe 12-yard gain, getting them to the 41-yard line, 39-yard line about, as the clock goes below 2 minutes for the first time in the first half.
Just as I was about to praise the Notre Dame defensive line,
there it is.
Front seven, maybe their worst snap of the game, honestly.
They heard you there. No huddle. No huddle for the Boilermakers as they move, as Love goes out wide. Card looking for something. Riley Mills there. Intercepted. That's going to be run back into the Boilermaker end zone for a pick 6 for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Boubacar Traore, who, of course, comes in for Jordan Botello, who's injured. Botello carted off, Traore into the end zone.
Comes in huge. Riley Mills there, I want to point out, was all over Hudson Card, forcing him to make that pass there right into the hands of Boubacar. Amazing, amazing stuff. The Irish now lead 34-0 with a minute and a half to play in the first half. Mitch Jeter trying to secure the 5 touchdown lead there.
I do not know what Hudson Card was.
I don't know what he was thinking
on that.
He's got 34-yard return there.
He's got no. It's not like Mills knocked the ball out.
Yeah, he was just all over him as Jeter slots it through the uprights.
And it's like this shovel to the sideline. I don't know if he's trying to get rid of it, get out of the bounds. There's only Notre Dame defenders over there.
Yeah.
It's odd.
It reminded me of that. If you were watching the NFL last Sunday, I guess there might be a lot of Chicago Bears fans in the Notre Dame fan base. That pick 6 Will Levis threw with Tennessee where he just kind of shoveled it out with the left hand out of the pocket and fell to his knees as it was being returned for an interception touchdown. That's exactly what that play was right there. Traore capitalized.
So, confirmation on Botello and Craig both out for the rest of the game as well.
Dang it.
Not good news.
Not all that surprising.
The Craig one,
with Botello.
Yeah, the Craig one is the one that sort of makes me nervous, where he was walking off under his own power mostly, and is still out for the rest of the game. So 2 backup offensive linemen here for the Irish in the second half.
Is Notre Dame? They're up 35-0 at half. Are you playing it safe? We can't tell those kind of things from here. We can't speculate, but not good news for Notre Dame, especially if it holds going forward.
As Jeter will send the ball back to Purdue, who will get another crack to maybe get on the board before this first half runs out. The ball is up again, and that's going to be into the end zone. Not even, but, the Boilermakers are not going to mess with it, and they're going to leave it alone. Let it be a touchback once again. Jeter really booting the ball around today. Kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, that's a interesting subplot of this game, right? Is Mitch Jeter has been, I mean, let's see if I can get any numbers on it. I don't know if I'll be able to live, but he has been a cannon.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, as I look beyond the far right corner where the student section, there is a mass exodus down the staircase already. It's not even halftime. I mean, the students, they've got better things to do.
Yeah.
They are sitting in the sun,
As Card throws a pass that is dropped by his tight end, Max Clare there.
They are celebrating 150 years of engineering at Purdue, and those guys get a lot of homework.
Let's see if they engineer some points today, Murph.
I mean, if it's anything like that glorious engineering
Stick
fountain
around.
of theirs.
Stick around for more engineering and train puns in the second half.
Wow. That's how we market the football broadcast. As Card looks to pass again and just sails one out of bounds with a tight coverage there by Jordan Clark. No option there. Thrown out of bounds as we have a 3rd and 10 for the Boilermakers in just about 10 seconds of offense there. Not much they're getting, even with a 35-point lead for the Irish as the first half winds down.
I mean, I think they're going to snap the ball here, so I'm actually not going to weigh in, but after this I will.
All right, it looks like it's Maccabee in the backfield with Card. Let's see what they do. He takes it himself, but is immediately wrapped up by the Irish. Fallen upon by Riley Mills was in there. Someone laid the initial hit there.
I think it was Howard Cross, got to him first.
Yes.
Howard Cross gets the initial tackle there as the punt alert is on for the Boilermakers.
I think we got to remember that this place can be a very hard place to play on certain given game days. And it's a credit to Notre Dame and the way they've played today. Not just to score, but also the way they've handled the ball on offense, the way they've been really snuffed anything out on defense. They've made this not a hard place to play, right?
Yeah, as we just mentioned, with a good bit of the student section gone already, with Jaden Greathouse with another great fair catch right around the 40-yard line with just about 40 seconds to play in this first half. We're going to continue action here. Leonard, I mean, this is Leonard in the offense. This is just an extra little drive here. If we get if we get points out of this, that would be a gift.
Yeah,
might as well give it a go at this point. Up 35-0 on the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I mean, this is good. We saw Marcus Freeman at times use short time slots as essentially practice for his team, right? I don't expect Notre Dame to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, already
they're going to snap a few plays here.
Already, Devin Ford is out there on the field, in the backfield with Leonard, who drops back to pass here. Ford out to block. He's got a receiver who makes a move around the 50-yard line, and he's cutting across the field with Green in front of him before being tackled down by the Boilermakers. A flag flies, but an amazing reception there by Jaden Greathouse.
Yeah, that's going to be a hold against Notre Dame.
So that play is going to be coming back.
I didn't catch the name, of course, but let's see. We're going to get a replay here. Maybe we can give it to you. Yeah, it's going to be the left tackle, Knapp, just holding around that edge. So a good-looking play. You know, Riley Leonard has more time than he might have had it not been a penalty, right?
Sure.
So you can't make much judgments, but that's exactly what Notre Dame should be using this time to get more reps, try some new things with the offense, which is, I hope, what we see in the second half. Notre Dame trying to open up that game through the air, which is, again, good first half. We haven't seen too much of that. They're going to need it going forward.
With Jadarian Price now back in the backfield after that Ford play. He gets a carry. He's looking for something. He's getting to the outside, and he's got Green in front of him around the 40-yard line. Makes a cut. Makes a man miss. He's to the 40. He's to the 30. 20. 10. And he's into the end zone again for the Irish. Another amazing run play, this time by Jadarian Price. The Irish with a 70-yard running touchdown there to end this first half as the clock has 4 seconds remaining. We see 41 Irish points up on the board, on pace for an 84-point game right now. I mean, Jadarian Price with an amazing run there. What looked like it was going to be nothing at all. He gets to the outside, beats a man, and just never looks back as he weaves through that Purdue defense into the end zone.
Well, this is the response. This is a great downfield block by Cooper Flanagan. This is a response from Notre Dame. There's no question about it. Notre Dame fans, after the loss to NIU, they said Notre Dame needs to win on Saturday. here in West Lafayette, and they need to win decisively. They're 30 minutes away from doing just that. And really, they've done it in the first 2 quarters of this football game.
Murph, where did we park on our way down to West Lafayette today?
West Lafayette High School, Lot V. I believe
that high school's team might have shown up in the black and gold today. This is rough for Purdue. They cannot make an open field tackle right now.
Yeah,
I mean it's unbelievable with Leonard going down the sideline. Jeremiah Love has juked out about 1 million people, and Jadarian Press. I mean, you know they're going to run the ball. It's 70 yards away from the end zone. You still give it up. I mean, Notre Dame's downfield blocking has been great today, too. I mean, this is just remarkable that we were this line kept coming down in Purdue's favor. It was down, I think, Notre Dame favored by a touchdown going into the game today, and it's 42-0. Like, what in the world? I mean, it's just another example of a Marcus Freeman coached team coming back from a devastating loss and just annihilating somebody. It was USC last year. Now it's Purdue.
Yep, USC post Louisville, Duke post Ohio State, Cal post Marshall, UNLV post Stanford. Marcus Freeman teams, they bounce back well. With 4 seconds to play, the Boilermakers will get maybe a playoff here before the end of this first half.
42 touchdown push-ups for the Notre Dame fans here in attendance in the first half.
In the first half alone, I see some still going over there. I mean,
they've been doing it for like 3 minutes now.
I mean, we talked about it a lot. The run game, that's what we wanted to see out of this Irish team coming into this game, and that's exactly what we've seen. I mean, nearly 300 yards on the ground in the first half alone, spread around. We've seen 5 different people on the ground with the ball, including Leonard. But, I mean, just that's what the Irish needed as the Boilermakers rip off a nice run here. Maybe going to get them a first down on a carry there by Love. That's going to do it for the first half here. But, I mean, just an amazing start for the Irish.
Listen to the boos.
Right. It's eerily similar. I mean, totally different in every single other way, right? But, that sound, it's exactly the sound that Notre Dame heard coming off the field at the end of the first half last weekend against NIU. They hear it again in West Lafayette, but it's not directed at them. It's because of the beatdown they just put on the Boilermakers in the first half.
And Purdue's got some soul-searching to do, and they still have 30 more minutes of football to play out here. I mean, good grief. I mean, for a game that, you know, they kind of viewed as their early season Super Bowl. You know, Purdue's not expecting to make a deep playoff run this year or anything like that. They're just looking for improvement under Ryan Walters, and they obviously built this game up a ton with the return of the Notre Dame-Purdue rivalry. It's 42-0. Like, what a letdown for them on their side, but what a lift for the Irish.
Absolutely.
And this is a convincing sort of first 2 quarters of ball game that, like, Notre Dame couldn't come out today. And if they're looking to resuscitate their college football playoff hopes, they couldn't come out today and squeak one out, right? They'd still be there, but they wouldn't be like, all right, Notre Dame is here. Right now,
this was the decisive showing they needed to prove that they deserve to still be in this conversation of the college football playoff. Absolutely, gentlemen.
So, we'll take a break here for halftime. I'll be back at 5:30 p.m. for a halftime update. We'll give you a recap of all the stats. And the first half, it was all Notre Dame, just to preview it. And we'll take a look at some scores from around the country as well. A busy day in Week 3 for college football. But
14
break here.
42-0 in favor of the Irish. You'll be back with T. Reed in about 10 minutes. See you then.
We're back here at Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette, Indiana. It is 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon, and especially beautiful for the Notre Dame fans that have made the short trip down to West Lafayette. 42-0 the score, Fighting Irish out in front here in Week 3 of the college football season. And myself, Tyler Reidy, pleased to be joined now by Jacob Irons, who has made the short trip over from the Notre Dame Radio Network booth to stop by for halftime. Jake, a bunch of guys wearing gold helmets just derailed the train through the first half hour of this game. Your take on the first half here in West Lafayette?
Notre Dame answered a lot of the doubts that they had coming in off of NIU, and that's what they needed to do. Understandably, how much pressure was on Marcus Freeman and on this Notre Dame football team in the 12-team playoff era, understanding that it's playoff or bust for this Notre Dame football team. And how can you quiet those doubters? How can you quiet the haters? And I'm going to quote Taylor Swift. Haters going to hate. Notre Dame's giving them a lot of reasons to hate if you hate Notre Dame. 42 points in a first half. It really quieted everybody down.
Well, the Irish have shaken off the loss from last week and are up 42-0. There's been a mass exodus of Purdue fans throughout halftime. The student section is down to probably about 20-25% capacity right now. We'll get you some facts and figures from the first half between Notre Dame and Purdue. The Irish up 42-0 on 3 rushing touchdowns by Riley Leonard. 11 carries, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground. Through the air, he has missed some chunk plays down the field, but he's been efficient. 11 for 16, 112 yards, on pace for his best passing game of the season, although we probably will not see him for the entire second half as the Irish filter in their backups.
And note for him, he still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet. Riley Leonard, although he looked really good on the ground, rushing in for a couple of touchdowns, he still hasn't connected. Longest pass of Notre Dame's passing attack so far in 2024, 23 yards to Jaden Thomas. So passing attack still looking to get going.
And on the ground for Notre Dame, Jeremiah Love has 6 carries for 90 yards and a 48-yard touchdown. Jadarian Price lifted his numbers big time with a 70-yard touchdown run at the end of the first half. He has 5 attempts for 77 yards and that score. On the Purdue side, the offense has not done a whole lot. Hudson Card, the quarterback, is 6 of 14 for 61 passing yards and a pick-6 interception to Boubacar Traore, responsible for, I guess, Notre Dame's first receiving touchdown of the season because he caught it, but on the defensive side and on the ground, Purdue has just 11 yards on 11 carries. It has been a slow day at the office for this Purdue offensive unit. We'll transition now to some scores from around the country. Just one top 25 matchup, rather 2 top 25 matchups have gone final so far. Missouri, playing at home, defeated Boston College. That was a 6-24 matchup in Columbia, 27-21 Tigers. Alabama went on the road to Wisconsin and just annihilated the Badgers at Camp Randall. 4th-ranked Crimson Tide 42, Wisconsin 10 on a big day for Jalen Milroe, the Bama quarterback. Oklahoma State, the 13th-ranked team in the land, went to Tulsa and won by a 45-10 score. Brian Kelly and the 16th-ranked LSU Tigers survived a close one with South Carolina. That was College Game Day's featured contest this week. 36-33 LSU, a winner at South Carolina on a late touchdown by Josh Williams. Michigan, another somewhat uncomfortable game against a mid-major opponent. 17th-ranked Wolverines defeat Arkansas State 28-18 in the Big House. Another top 25 matchup, 14th-ranked Kansas State over 20th-ranked Arizona, 31-7 in Manhattan. So Kansas State looking good, Mizzou looking good, Alabama looking great. Some ranked matchups that are going on right now, at least involving ranked teams. Oregon is at halftime against Oregon State in the Civil War. 22-14 Ducks in Corvallis as 9th-ranked Oregon holds the lead. 15th-ranked Oklahoma leading Tulane 21-6 at halftime. And 12th-ranked Utah early in their matchup with Utah State, but having some problems. Utah State leads the Utes 14-3, and Miami, Florida, the 10th-ranked team in the land out of the ACC, is currently in a delay hosting Ball State. Later tonight, we'll see a bunch of top 5 teams in matchup. Ole Miss will take on Wake Forest. Texas will host UTSA. And Georgia, the number 1 ranked team in the land, will visit Kentucky. Here it's 42-0 Notre Dame as we're just about 3 minutes away from the second half. I'll now hand it off to Ryan Murphy and Ben Rohr for further breakdown on how things have gone so far. A little preview of what we can expect to see in the second half. We're probably going to see plenty of new faces on both sides of the ball for Notre Dame, so a lot to get to as the Irish lead by 6 touchdowns. And in just a moment after this break, Ryan Murphy will have the call alongside Ben Rohr for the second half. Yard completion of the season, and he dropped that in the bucket. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't want to just keep coming back to this quarterback play. But that was the best pass.
I will say, I repeatedly kept making arguments for Riley Leonard in the first half. So
42 yards. 42 yards there.
You can do it in the second half. 42-yard completion. Ball on the 30-yard line at Purdue. 1st and 10 for the Irish at 7:19 left here in the third quarter. Low snap. Angeli gets it, though. Plenty of time in the pocket. He'll throw right, and he just has it go off the hand of Jeremiah Love, who had leaked out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a bit of a miss from Angeli there, but what a beautiful ball for a 42-yard pass. And yeah, Jaden Harrison also sort of good to see him getting these receptions where, he comes over from Marshall and sort of has been quiet early in the season, and I think, establishing himself with Bo Collins and Chris Mitchell up there at the top could be very, very exciting.
2nd and 10 from the 30. Shadows entirely across the field now. You see Notre Dame fans have crept down to the first rows trying to get a little bit of that as Jerian Price takes the handoff, rumbles up for a short gain out to the 32-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8 coming up, 3rd and 8 coming up.
Yeah, now we're getting into these 3rd and long situations for the Irish that they avoided so well in the first half. And I think that could be, something of, who's on the field, who isn't. But, it's interesting to point out.
Devin Ford comes off, Jeremiah Love comes on, but he's optioned out here as a receiver as the Irish go empty backfield on 3rd and 8, 6:36 on the clock. Ball on the 28-yard line. Now Love comes inside to the left, and now he'll motion back out to the right of the receiver again as we await the snap. Here it comes. Angeli steps back, quick throw to Love. He's got some time and space out there across the 25-yard line. He's tackled at the 26. Not going to be good enough. It'll bring up 4th down for Notre Dame, and it does look like the kick unit's going to come out.
Interesting. First time get to see Mitch Jeter's leg for a field goal. Here he's kicked plenty of extra points today, but get to use some of that power to try and put 3 on the board instead of just 1.
Jeter has shown it off in the past. He had 2 kicks blocked from 62 and 48 against NIU, but hit them from 46, 23, and 46 at Texas A&M. We wait the snap, the hold, the kick is up and away, and it's good off the boot of Mitch Jeter, so the Irish have put up a 50 spot, 52-7 on the board here in West Lafayette.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think maybe the conversation about 100 is out of the realm of possibility now in Purdue. But
I don't know if we want to see that.
Hey, I'm just saying, slow down here in this 3rd quarter. Definitely taking the foot off the gas a little bit, but 52-7, definitely making a statement here with this one. And it was honestly a statement that needed to be made. The sentiment around campus this week was just so much disappointment. The amount of students that are not diehard fans, they don't know everyone like we do. They're more like they're more like
we're knowledgeable.
What's going on? Okay, yeah, sure.
If you say so.
Yes, I'm just.
I was out of your head. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying they're much more sort of fair weather football people than us in the booth. But I'm just saying they were much more. Why did we lose? What's going on? I can't believe this. Why am I here? It's like, come on, we can hold this together and sort of. The Irish maybe get these playoff hopes back on track with this one.
Yep, I think we're going to end up talking a lot more big picture stuff in this second half than maybe we intended to coming in. The thing about this ball game is that the expectations coming into this one is like nobody really knew what we were going to see. Right? This was on the table. I think you have to say this was on the table, right? But, it also could be 17-14 right now, and that was very much on the table too.
Yeah, as Tyler mentioned, the betting line crept to about, I think, a touchdown, 7.5 before this game. So very much, the Irish still ranked 18th in the nation, but very much still an expectation that this was going to be a close game, that the Purdue was going to represent the Big Ten well and put an Irish team that just lost NIU in much more of a corner than we're seeing today.
The interesting thing about this, too, I understand the temptation for Notre Dame fans to be like, all right, we're back. Last week was, you can call it a fluke or whatever, but Notre Dame is not won, have more than 5 games or just 5 games in a row, period, under Marcus Freeman yet. Here it is. Yet to string together more than 5 wins under Marcus Freeman. If Notre Dame is going to live up to the expectations they entered the season with, they're going to need to do that and a lot more. This is just the starting point.
Absolutely. I think still the conversation is, we'll probably drop another one down the line somewhere. It's about, can this Irish team string together 10 wins to put themselves in a secure or at least a great attempt at that playoff spot. That's the big question, is can they string together that many in a row, which we have not seen at all.
Eric Goins on for another kick right to left across your radio, and it is out of the back of the end zone, so the Irish showing off some kicking depth in this game. It'll be a touchback, and Purdue will take over on the 25. Tyler, bring you in here. I know I asked Ben about how or whether this game makes him feel frustrated. How you feel?
It makes me more frustrated about it because you ask yourself, okay, you just went on the road today as only 7-point favorites. You win that game last week, you're probably 14-point favorites, and you whoop Purdue. Why couldn't you do something like this as 28-point favorites at home last week? It just continues to speak to the weird ups and downs of this team.
Jet sweep and all wrapped up in the backfield is Leland Smith. Getting in there on the tackle for Notre Dame was Jaden Osbury. He came out of nowhere, and it'll be no gain for Purdue. 2nd and 10 from the 25, 5:23 here on the clock in the third quarter. This has been one of those games where the time has seemed to stand still for the last little bit.
Absolutely. One of those games where you wish there was a running clock.
2nd and 10 from the 25. And a handoff here is to Mockabee. He finds some room. Osbury's got him by the legs, though. And he just gets about 2 yards before going down there. That'll bring up a quick 3rd down for the Boilermakers, who are 1 of 8 converting 3rd downs today.
I just noticed in the front row of Purdue student section, there are a bunch of young men that have "Go Huskies" painted across their chests. Rough day for them.
Yes.
That was the taunt from the student section while Notre Dame was warming up today. They were chanting NIU, NIU. It's not worked out too well.
That's a great note. I mean, here's the snap. Card steps back. He's kind of smoked out. Now look out. Traore's got him. Heinisch comes in. All wrapped up is Hudson Card, and he goes down at the 16-yard line. That'll bring up 4th and long, and the punt crew will come on for Purdue. But you're absolutely right, Tyler. I mean, that was one of the things that we were sort of, kind of alarmed us. We heard Notre Dame comes running out on the field, and the chant goes, NIU, NIU, NIU. They had to silence the doubters today. They were standing right there in that front row, and they certainly have.
Yeah, I think it was a lot about how much will that NIU game haunt this team.
Yes, they weren't cheering for Purdue. They were cheering about the NIU game. I think that's what's significant about it, right?
Yeah, and I think it was very, very important that this team put that one well in the rear view with this game, saying that's not going to be what we let define our season.
Good punt returning here for Notre Dame's Max Hurlemans. Again, deep down the depth chart of the Notre Dame punt return team. A couple jukes gets him out to the 49-yard line. That's where Notre Dame will start their next drive, up 52-7 with 3:35 on the clock here in the third.
And it's understandable because, we were walking around campus today, and a Purdue fan was just wearing an NIU T-shirt, and we spoke about it.
It gave us a jump scare. I think that's the best way to put it. It was a jump scare.
It really did. It rattled us just walking around the campus, and I think it was important for the culture of both the fan base and the team, both, of really sort of ensuring that NIU game is not going to be what's remembered from this season as much as it still will be.
Ball on the 48, 1st and 10. Raritan in motion. Handoff goes to Price here. He's out across the 50, up to the 52-yard line.
48-yard line.
48, thank you. The 52-yard line does not exist.
Come on, Ryan. Who would ever
Up
say
and then
that?
down.
Well, hey, we've done enough math today calculating Notre Dame's scores here,
right?
Yeah.
I was thinking 52 maybe because they have 52 points.
Right.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
there you go. Yep, you're good.
Ball on the Purdue 48, also known as the Notre Dame 52 if you're so inclined, but don't be so inclined. I encourage you. Waiting the snap here. 2nd and 6. And it's again a handoff to Price. He runs left. He's got some room. Tries a spinorama and gets down to the 45-yard line.
I think this has been a great game for Jadarian Price. I think obviously Jeremiah Love has really established himself as the number one sort of most talented back that we have. But, I mean, Jadarian Price gets the opportunity to rip off a massive run there for the score. Super impressive play. Establishing himself as, just as reliable. It's just a great, great option. And just how blessed we are to have both of them in the backfield.
Devin Ford into the game now for Notre Dame. No carries for Ford. 2 receivers out to the left. for the Irish. Here's the snap to Angeli. It is a handoff to Ford. He runs right up the middle and gets plenty of yardage out across the 38-yard line for a first down for Notre Dame.
I think that now makes 5 ball carriers that have gone for a run that secures a chain movement for the Irish today, if not more, with Aeneas Williams getting a massive one on third down very early in the game,
Exactly
which was
right.
very exciting to see.
It is 5,
so
yeah.
that would make it 5 different ball carriers to secure a first down for the Irish today.
Jeremiah Love back in the game for Notre Dame. Price, by the way, 8 carries, 86 yards, and a touchdown. His long was 70. There's a snap, empty backfield for Angeli here on first down. Ball in motion, 1:39 on the clock, and Angeli is smoked out and sacked at the 50-yard line.
I mean, Angeli, a lot of time there, but, I mean, looking downfield, there were no options there. No one was really getting open there. Obviously, you hate to see Angeli take that big of a sack there, but nobody was open downfield, and I think that was as much of a question, and maybe not as much of a question, but that was a huge question coming out of the NIU game was, can we get open downfield, let alone Riley Leonard throwing them the ball?
10-yard loss, 2nd and 20 from the 48. Angeli takes it himself. QB keeper draw right up the middle. He gets free on the left side. To the 30, to the 25, to the 20, and he's forced out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. Steve Angeli makes up the 20 and more.
Yeah, he said, don't worry, guys, I'll get it back. So takes a huge sack on the previous play and then just shows it with his legs himself.
40 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Who is that shades of?
Riley Leonard.
We just have a lot of all-around guys.
1st and 10 from the 19. Angeli back in the gun with with Love off to his right.
That'd be
Man
something
in
if Leonard was over there.
Hey, they might want to try it. Raridan. It's a handoff to Love. Doesn't like what he sees, so he goes right. He's got Angeli as his blocker. Love out to the 10, and he's tackled out of bounds. Well, Steve Angeli never really had to make any contact there, but he was the lead blocker on that play.
I'm loving the vision from Jeremiah Love today. The amount of times that Jeremiah Love has gotten the football, saw the lineup in front of him, not like what he sees, takes it to the outside, beats the defenders to set that edge for himself and get to the sideline. It's just been really, really impressive today. We saw it where he'll switch the field and a couple of huge plays, including a touchdown run.
Well, it's a 52-7 ball game, but this has been one of the more fascinating drives of the game. It'll be 1st and goal, Notre Dame from the 8 when we come back here at Ross Addy Stadium. Only one more quarter to go. Notre Dame 52, Purdue 7. You're listening to the voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. Welcome back for the fourth quarter here from Notre Dame Stadium. Hope you bet the Irish to cover today because they've done that and a whole lot more. 52-7, Notre Dame leads Purdue for the final 15 minutes on the clock, and they're looking to add 1st and goal from the 8. Steve Angeli, the quarterback, after Riley Leonard racked up some scores for Notre Dame in the first half. Angeli threw Notre Dame's first passing touchdown of the season early in the third quarter. Now he takes a snap and rolls left. Passes right over the middle, and it's a touchdown Irish.
Kevin Bauman.
Kevin Bauman.
Good for Kevin Bauman. He has had a difficult career, battling injuries. He's a senior. He's been here quite a long time. And you saw the Notre Dame reaction. They all came, really seemed like streaming onto the field there. That's a morale touchdown for Notre Dame there on the first play here of the fourth quarter. 58-7, and Mitch Jeter is out there. I'm actually not even sure if that's Mitch Jeter anymore.
It is not.
That might be Zach Yoakum.
Yes.
It is Zach Yoakum who drills it through the uprights, and Notre Dame leads 59-7 to begin this fourth quarter. And guys, place is emptied out pretty good. Still a lot of green in the house, though, and they've been having some fun today.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Definition of spreading the wealth there with the crew and the Kevin Bauman touchdown. Really, I mean, that's just fun to see. When you're up 52 points on a squad, that's the kind of stuff you like to see. I mean, this has really just been a fun game. I thought that drive was encouraging. A lot of sort of second-team guys out there on that drive, and it still was super successful. Very much, highlighted exclamation point with that Steve Angeli run. That was super impressive, but just this is fun. This is what we like to see now.
And Purdue, takes a whooping here today. They have a week 2 bye week last week, so they came out, felt really good. 49-0 win on August 34th over August 31st. My gosh, long afternoon. Over Indiana State, bye week, get thrashed here today, and now they're sort of staring down the gauntlet a little bit. They go to Oregon State next week, 8:30 p.m. kickoff on the CW. Wow. And then they will host number 23 Nebraska the following week to close out September. They're also looking down the schedule. You have number 6 Oregon coming here. You have number 2 Ohio State. They'll go on the road for that one. And number 7 Penn State coming here. This is number 18 Notre Dame that just got beat by NIU last week.
I don't know that it's the Boilermakers' year. I will say that much, with a Big Ten that is just suffocating to play in now, with the conference realignment where you have Oregon, Washington, USC coming over. Now you have to host Oregon in the middle of your season when you should be in traditional conference play. Now that's in the mix. I think it's just this is a disheartening one for the Boilermakers, especially since from that 49-0 win Indiana State, they exact same depth chart for this Boilermaker team. No injuries, no one coming back. That was the crew that did that damage, and not the team to handle Notre Dame today.
Notre Dame and Purdue also, by the way, have been playing since 1896, Ben. 1896 is the first meeting. Purdue beat Notre Dame in that one 28-22. Since then, the Irish have a 59-26-2 record. And in all of those previous 88 meetings, this is the most points a Notre Dame team has scored against Purdue.
Wow.
That was a quick scan. So, if you're a deeper statistician than me, you can double-check me on that. But the highest I see for Notre Dame is 52. They last did that in 1988, a 52-7 victory. That was not a bad year for the Irish as they kick it from left to right across your radio here. Eric Goins has been out there doing kickoffs for the Irish here in the second half, and it is a touchback yet again, so Purdue will take over at the 25-yard line. They scored on their last drive, and looking again to just maybe build some confidence late in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. With two backup defensemen for the Irish pretty much running into each other to allow a massive play that got them inside the 10-yard line. It'll be interesting to see if the Purdue offense can move down the field sort of in chunks and in good gains, or do they need that big play, that big sort of mistake from the Irish to get something moving even on the second squad. I think it'll be interesting to see if, now that it's Team 1 versus Team 2, if they could truly have a nice drive.
First and 10 from the 25, 14:52 on the clock, and Hudson Card steps back, smoked out immediately, throws a ball downfield, and it was just overthrown out of bounds. The intended target over there going crashing down was tight end Max Clare. Yes, it was intended for Clare, so 2nd and 10 coming up.
Good pass coverage there, sort of a routine Notre Dame. What you expect to see from this squad?
Bryce Young was all up in the face of Hudson Card there, the son of Bryant Young, Notre Dame football star, and 14-year NFL veteran, getting some reps, the freshman. 2nd and 10 with 14:44 on the clock from the Purdue 25-yard line. And the handoff here is a fake. It goes to Love, and the ball's knocked out of the hands of the intended target. I think they're going to rule this an incomplete pass to Ilon Morissette, who's caught the only touchdown of the game. Kind of had that pop in and out of the breadbasket, and hopping all over it, I think, was Junior Tuilamaka.
He would have recovered the ball there. That might have been... Let's see who laid the hit there. That might have been... Was that...
Jaden Osbury.
Jaden Osbury, who's honestly having a lovely game for himself coming out here on the field. I mean, that's the physicality and the tackling that you want to see from this Irish defense.
3rd and 10 to the 25. At the 25, Morissette in motion. Here's the snap. Card backs up. He runs all out of room. Irish smoke him out. Heinisch got in there. So did Jason Anye.
And what I really like to see there was Kingston Viliamu-Asa, who is brand new to this squad. I actually talked about him last year, I think, before the Blue and Gold game on Shamrock Sports. The name is so familiar. That's very exciting to see him really make a difference on that play, because he laid a big hit on an offensive lineman, shoving him back in to Hudson Card.
Perhaps
to let the pocket just truly collapse there.
They're most highly touted prospect probably in that freshman class, next to perhaps C.J. Carr. You could probably make an argument for Viliamu-Asa, though the punt is away here. And Notre Dame will receive it at the 35-yard line, and taking it out for a little bit of a run is Hurlemans. He goes left to the 50-yard line. Flags come flying in over on the left side of the field where there's a Notre Dame player without his helmet. I don't know what this is all about, but it seemed very away from the play, and now
Jaden Mickey on the opposite end of the field with no helmet.
I mean, that was at the Purdue 35-yard line, right next to the Purdue bench. Hurlemans had it at the Irish 35-yard line on the hash marks. It's strange. We'll hear what the call is. It's a holding call against Notre Dame. Number 15, who is not involved in the play on that area at all.
Really a fascinating thing. I mean, clearly something went down on that side of the field that just really no one up here really caught. I'm not entirely sure, because that looked it was a very strange breakdown to where Jaden Mickey ends up with no helmet. There's action on the bench, and it's just a holding call. It's sort of fascinating.
13:41 on the clock here at Ross Addy Stadium. Notre Dame 15 and Purdue 7. And Tyler, you've been working on something over there for a while. What do you got for us?
Notre Dame has not scored this many points in a road game in 51 years.
Wow.
1973's national championship team under Ara Parseghian.
Wow.
Put up 62 at Michie Stadium at Army on October 20th, 1973. That's the last time a Notre Dame team scored 59-plus on the road.
You heard it here first, folks. I guarantee you no one...
Yeah, it's probably been... I'm going to look at Twitter, and it's there.
Send that out to the interwebs right now.
Put that on the VFI
Great
Twitter.
Work from Tyler Reidy, right, as always.
So, I mean, I guess that means this team is just about as good as that national title team that Ara had back in the day. I guess that's what that means, right?
Oh, my goodness. Well, somewhere Ara Parseghian is smiling. Smiling down on us right now. We are in a TV timeout here, so we can keep it here for a little bit. There's not really, I mean, I think Tyler's point maybe lends itself to why we're speechless at this point, right? Potentially an unprecedented road game for Notre Dame. I mean, this place is...
Sure. The student section, I think you could count on about 3 hands the amount of people still in that student section over there. I think it's just been... I'm still excited by this win. It's obviously... The game itself is, still feeling longer at this point, but I think a lot of what I heard was, well, if we're going to get in this playoff, if the Irish are going to get in this playoff, they need to make statements in the ones they're supposed to win. And that's exactly what they're doing here today.
So let's take a moment. We looked ahead for Purdue. Let's look ahead for Notre Dame. They got Miami of Ohio coming to town next week. They're starting a 3-game homestand over the course of 4 weeks. They have Miami of Ohio, Louisville, then a bye week, and then they'll host Stanford. One big one is Louisville, right? And the the Miami of Ohio game gives you a little jitters, right? Because, I mean, I think everyone looked at Notre Dame's schedule to start the year, and they're like, wow, they're playing 2 MAC teams at home, right? And now that second game against a MAC team who's supposed to be better than the first that they lost to, gives a little jitters, right? And there's the potential for Notre Dame to look ahead to a Louisville game that will hold huge implications for the start of their season. So a critical 4 weeks coming up for Notre Dame.
Absolutely. I mean, Ryan, you talked about it a couple of weeks ago in a Sham Bookie segment that Miami of Ohio, they win the MAC, and they come in as the big brother to NIU, who, the Irish just took.
They did get trounced in that game. I picked them.
They did. They got smacked around by Northwestern, I think. That does it. But again, all the more reason to take that game as seriously as you would any other game, because if it's all about culture for that one, to where Marcus Freeman needs to have the team just a trillion times more ready than they were for NIU.
Steve Angeli's offense back out there, beginning at the 35-yard line, and he dodges a couple tackles, and he's hit right over the numerals on the left side of the field. So not really sure what the plan was there for Notre Dame, but it'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
Yeah, I mean, a well-designed option there, just a great open field tackle by Purdue there, where Angeli was sort of left alone with a lot of people going the side of Price, but just a great open field tackle, end of the play. No one really open there for Angeli.
In case you're just tuning in, Riley Leonard played the full first half, but not a snap here in the second. Snap back to Angeli. He lobs a long ball down the right sideline. Going up for it is Smith, and he cannot make the catch. He was in single coverage over there on the right side. And good coverage by Marcavius Brown on the play.
Yeah, got a hand in there. The throw a little bit behind Smith, but I mean, it just Angeli Loblin went up there taking a shot. But I think the ball would have been caught if Brown does not get a hand in there.
3rd and 12 from the 33. We've seen Angeli and Notre Dame be good on these third downs in the second half. Ball on the 33-yard line. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, and Jadarian Price to the right of Angeli. Here's the snap. Raritan in motion. It's a handoff to Price. He's all backed up. Takes a couple stutter steps, and he's tackled down for what looks like a loss. And Notre Dame's offense stalls out here in the fourth quarter for the first time in what feels like a while.
Absolutely. I think you're still seeing a difference between that first lineup and this squad that's out here right now. I mean, I think there was one drive I could think of in the first half where that did happen. But, I mean, still very encouraging stuff all around.
Notre Dame goes 3 plays for a loss of 2 yards and will be forced to punt here with 12:26 on the clock, leading 59-7. The punt is away. It is deep in Purdue territory. They call for a fair catch at the 24-yard line, and they'll get it there. The first Notre Dame drive to stall out in the last 6. They had scored on 6 consecutive drives and 8 of 10 prior to that one. So I think they get a pass.
Yeah, we'll let that one slide.
We'll let that one slide, and we'll slide into a commercial break with 12:17 on the clock here from Ross Addy Stadium. It's 59-7 Irish on the Voices of Fighting Irish, WVFI.
Amazing.
The love train rolls along here at Ross Addy Stadium. Purdue takes over. 1st and 10, ball on the 24. They trail by 52, 59-7. To the visiting Notre Dame Fighting Irish with 12:17 left in the ball game. It has been the love train. He's the leading rusher for Notre Dame, perhaps an anthem for the future for the Irish. 109 yards on 10 attempts and a touchdown for Jeremiah Love as Purdue will move from right to left across your radio. Hudson Card back out there. He hands the ball off to Maccabee, and he runs for about 4 yards right up the middle to start this Purdue drive. Deep in their own territory.
Yeah, I mean, super encouraging stuff, especially from Love. When you see him average 6.8 yards per carry last week, and he improves upon it handsomely this week. You said 105 yards on 10 attempts. I mean, that's over 10 yards a carry for Jeremiah Love, which is just wowing.
Snap to Card here on 2nd and 7. The handoff to Maccabee rolls left and is tackled for a short gain by Viliamu Asa. Flag comes out on the 27-yard line, so we'll see what that's all about.
Viliamu Asa, love to see him getting some early reps in this game. Should be huge.
So a holding call against Purdue, so this play will come back. It'll be 2nd and roughly, I want to say, 17.
Yeah, just what they needed.
Yeah.
10 less yards for the Boilermakers.
From the 17, 2nd and 17. Here from Purdue. Just trying to maybe gain a little confidence here late in this one. 2 receivers out to the right, 2 to the left for Hudson Card. Notre Dame's secondary defense, second-string defense has been out there for most of this second half so far. It's a handoff to Reggie Love into the game. Stops and starts, now goes right, and then right up the middle of the field, out across the 25-yard line. He's inside the sticks again. That'll be 3rd and 8.
You know, on a 2nd and 17 play, the goal is just not let it blow up. Let them get that first down. They're faced with a 3rd and long, which the Irish have defended very well today, which has been very, different from last week, where and the NIU Huskies would have these 3rd down plays where the Irish could really shut down the momentum if they could just make a stop, and they were unable to. So definitely a large improvement on that front.
Reggie Love remains in the game. 10:54 on the game clock. 3rd and 8 from the 26. A lob down the right side of the field out to the 50-yard line, and there was no one home. I mean, vacant.
Yeah, some miscommunication there. Looking like maybe Endrine just runs the wrong route, or Card forgets where he's going. But it'll bring the punt alert out for the Boilermakers, giving it back to the Irish. I mean, it's kind of been fun to see Max Hurlman get these returns, which have honestly been very, very positive. He's had some nice shakes, gotten way more out of some punt returns that you would not expect.
Purdue will punt from their own 25-yard line. It's in the air. Max Hurlman is back there. He backs up to the 25 himself, watches it go over his head. So I'm not sure if he called for a fair catch. I'm assuming he did, but it's touched up by Purdue at the 18-yard line. Notre Dame will start deep in their own territory either way. I want to take the moment to thank all you who've been listening throughout the day. Those of you who have stuck with us, props to you. 59-7 Notre Dame. I'm sorry I cut you off, Ben, but shout out to the listeners whoever you are, wherever you're joining us from. Good day for the Fighting Irish.
Maybe family members left on the broadcast. You know what? That's what I appreciate. I was going to say something like, which Australian punter has been more proficient today? That's sort of where I'm at in terms of comments right now.
Steve Angeli's offense back on the field here for Notre Dame. They will start at their own 16-yard line, and it's a quick handoff for Angeli. Sorry, ball in the 18. I had it right the first time. Don't doubt yourself, kids. And a short gain for the Fighting Irish. They'll make a couple of changes. Aeneas Williams comes on. Devin Ford, who was the ball carrier there.
I'm excited to see more of these carries from Williams and Ford, because I think obviously we just have such a luxury with Price and Love, but with those two at the 3 and 4 is very impressive.
Here's the snap. Angeli rolls right, makes a nice connecting throw out across the 28-yard line. Pushed out of bounds there is KK Smith, another young star for this Fighting Irish team. The sophomore from Frisco, Texas, did not appear at all last year, though, so essentially a freshman year for him. First down, Irish. Ball out to the 29-yard line. 9:38 on the clock. Big score up there for Notre Dame right now. Angeli in the gun. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Here's the snap. He's got all sorts of time. The pocket collapses, though, and he's wrapped up and felled at the 25-yard line. And looks like the ball actually comes out. Purdue was trying to claim it. Kydron Jenkins, who had a tackle for loss and a sack against Indiana State.
Interesting to see some of these gentlemen that are getting out there. Gerby Lambert at right tackle is fun to see. It gives me hope for the future, this one, right?
And
59-7.
Kedron Young, the freshman, into the game at running back right now for the Irish. 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ball on the 24-yard line, 2nd and 15. It's a handoff to Young, his first ever carry for Notre Dame, and he muscles his way out to the 28-yard line. You just add that to the list of Notre Dame players who have got the ball on the ground today. Love, Leonard, Price, Angeli, Williams, Ford, Thomas. And it'll be 3rd and 11 for the Irish. If you hear the train horn, they're still tooting away here at Ross-Ade Stadium. Ball on the 27. Young remains in the game. Stepping back here somewhere. That's Ford in the game. A long throw by Angeli. It's a bit underthrown for Dion Colsey out at the 40-yard line. Incomplete, and the Irish offense will come off the field empty-handed.
Yeah, I mean, another drive where it just feels like we're trying to burn the clock out a little bit here. Getting some new reps for people. Obviously not the perfect throw there by Angeli. I think Coleman started to turn inwards, and it could have been exciting to see him connect as he moves towards the inside of the field. But, a lot to ask there, putting that one sort of on the back shoulder on the sideline when, you're up by 52 points with 8 minutes to go.
James Rendell's punt unit is on. 8:14 on the clock. He will punt it away from the 27-yard line.
Special teams not given too much to do today, but they've done it pretty well, what they had.
Snap and the punt from Rendell. It's high, looping in the air out across the giant pistol P. And it'll be a fair catch at the 39-yard line. We'll keep it rolling here right with you on the Voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. Thanks for joining us. Ryan Murphy, Tyler Reidy, Ben Rohr making the just over 2-hour drive from South Bend to West Lafayette for this one.
Something to note about Purdue's campus is that Purdue Pete sports human legs. We had discussed this multiple times today. I don't know. It's a little bit off-putting. He's not a.
You were disturbed by it.
He's not a full mascot. He's got a head. He's a head and a pair of gloves.
So what do you say to people who are unhappy about Notre Dame's mascot being fully a human?
Well,
if Purdue takes over on the 39-yard line, they'll run a play here. Reggie Love on the handoff comes out across the 41-yard line.
Well, I think that's sort of the difference is that the Irish are fully committed to just having a human mascot, right? It's a guy in a suit and a hat. They are trying to do both. They have a mascot head on a kid, and we're just seeing his calves. We're just seeing the calves, and it sort of sits in an uncanny valley for me. I'm not sure.
2nd and 7.
I mean, the calves better be big to match his head.
Oh my, yeah. I mean,
his head is huge.
Nothing against the kid's calves. He's got absolute cannons down there, but it's off-putting.
7:27 left to go. 59-7 Notre Dame, and the ball's batted in the air and intercepted. Irish pick it off. It's Kingston Viliamu Asa at the 30. They'll have good field position here, looking to push into the 60s, and another breakout star for the Irish. Kingston Viliamu-Asa has his moment.
I mean, yeah, to return to actual football here, I think that's really exciting to see. I mean, Viliamu-Asa is, as Ryan said, maybe the number one prospect in this freshman class, and to see him come out and get these garbage time minutes has just been, and really have an impact in these garbage time minutes. It's a name that we've said 3 or 4 times in a defensive squad that's winning by 52 points. I think that is really, really exciting to see down the line, to where he's the guy that can maybe become a leader on this squad, where he's having such a visible and observable impact in really a garbage time.
Into the game at quarterback for Notre Dame, Kenny Minchie.
Hey, I have multiple classes with him. Good guy.
Right.
Good
Ball
guy.
in the 31, 1st and 10 with just 7 minutes to go. It's a jet sweep to KK Smith, who breaks a tackle. He's inside the 30. He's hit well late. Down at the 27-yard line there. He's pushed out of bounds.
Massive hit.
2nd down.
Yeah, massive
Smith
hit.
getting some action here. Minchie saw action last year against Tennessee State, Pitt, and Oregon State. 2 passes for 12 yards for the junior Hendersonville, Tennessee native. The Irish digging deep into their quarterback depth chart here. 6:45 on the clock, 2nd and 6 from the 27. 3 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left, and Kedron Young in the backfield for Notre Dame, the 6', 229 freshman. Ball on the left hash. In motion is Bauman. It's a handoff to Young. Breaks a couple tackles. Kedron gets free. He's out to the 20. Or nope, sorry, that is Minchie the whole time. Had me totally fooled. Just about the same area, down to the 20 till we were first down for Notre Dame.
That's a good option right there.
Happens to the best of us. When you get fooled, it's probably, if you fool the broadcasters, it's a good play.
Yeah.
Good fake.
There's a reason he got a first down there.
So,
I mean, that's something to talk about. Minchie also can do it with his legs there. Another young, mobile guy in the quarterback.
Absolutely. 1st and 10. 6:01 on the clock, ball on the 20-yard line. Minchie steps back, hauls one deep to the end zone. He's got Gilbert there trying to moss the defender.
Ooh, a late
falls
flag.
incomplete. Markavius Brown was in coverage, and you're right, a flag comes in. PI?
I think it might be.
Brown did not turn
Defender
around.
never turned his head.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that would be it, if it's anything, especially since it's late and it's from, not the sideline referee right there.
It is pass interference against Markavius Brown. So with 5:52, Notre Dame will have, they'll be sitting pretty here to get into the 60s, potentially ball on the 5. First and goal for the Irish. Going to add to their lead. Young in the backfield, 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Smith faked some motion. He's told to just stay where he is by the quarterback, Kenny Minchie. Now, Young they'll go empty backfield, direct snap to Minchie, who's going to run it into himself. Touchdown, Notre Dame, touchdown, Kenny Minchie, his first career touchdown in an Irish uniform.
I mean, that's just awesome to see now. You let Kenny Minchie come out, lead a drive. The guy who, a lot of people consider to be 4th on the quarterback depth chart behind C.J. Carr. You let him come out, score a touchdown. That's awesome. Oh, wow, I looked at the television for the CBS broadcast. They showed a picture of Kenny Minchie, fully said Adon Schuler. Because also number 8, I suppose.
Yeah, that's not right. That's definitely Kenny Minchie.
That hurts. But, I mean, yeah, just great to see for Kenny. A fantastic run, a well-designed draw play that, the Boilermakers have had no answer for, really. Whether it's Riley Leonard, Steve Angeli, or Kenny Minchie in there, that design draw has really, really been productive.
Extra point off the foot of Zach Yoakum is good. So, to be fair, I'm going to just defend Kenny Minchie here a little bit. Listed above C.J. Carr on the depth chart, but...
Nice.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
No, yeah, you're right.
I feel like a lot of people, if they were asked,
I agree with you.
Who goes in next, they would say Carr.
Totally. We'll stay rolling. Keep it here with you on the Voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. This game being nationally broadcast on CBS, and I'm sure they want to kind of move things along here. So the commercial breaks have been few and far between late in this one. Perhaps rightfully so. Notre Dame will kick from left to right across your radio, leading 66-7. As Tyler had already mentioned, they've already scored the most points on a road since Ara Parsegian's 1973 national championship team. You got more.
Let's let the kick happen.
Irish kick from left to right across your radio. Again, it's Goins doing the kickoffs for Notre Dame's right now. And it's returned by Purdue from inside the 2. They're out to the 20 with a little bit of room to the 25. And it's going to be down at the 28-yard line. That's where Purdue will take over. Mr. Reidy, take it away.
Okay, so we are looking at 66 points for Notre Dame, the most since 1918 on the road.
Wow.
When the Irish defeated Wabash. And you remember our history lesson walking around campus today. Wabash was part of Purdue's namesake game in 1891.
Wow.
Purdue beat them 44-0, and something was written about the mighty Boilermakers as like an insult, like the working class nature of Purdue's players, the Boilermakers, and that became their name against Wabash.
It all comes full circle here on WVFI. Maccabee on the carry.
It all ties back to Wabash here for this.
Big, beautiful statue of a Boilermaker out front, and that's the plaque.
The Daily Argus News referred to the team as the Burly Boilermakers from Purdue in a 44-0 defeat of Wabash. Oh, that's a hilarious connection.
And then 5 years later, they would begin this series with the Irish for the Shillelagh Trophy.
Excellent reporting by our Tyler Reidy, and that's why you come to the game. It's the little things like that. 2nd and 8. And Maccabee again on the carry. Flags come flying in here as he rumbles out across the 35-yard line, going down at the 36. We'll see what these flags are all about. 66-7 Notre Dame with 4:54 on the clock here in West Lafayette. And it'll be holding against the Boilermakers. Props to all the Purdue fans and students who stuck around late through this tough one, and a lot of them left. This place is more empty than full right now, but the band is still entirely here, and there's still probably about 3 or 4 rows in the student section.
I do have a quick correction to make. That Wabash game in 1918 was not the last time. It was the first of 2 times. The other was 1965 against Pitt. So it's only happened twice. Gotcha. The Irish have scored 65+.
Wow. And, I mean, Pitt was one of the higher scoring games last year as well with Tennessee State, where we saw, those games that Tyler mentioned where we saw, or maybe it was Ryan, we saw Minchie get action. So it's all connected.
Yes, that's right.
It's all connected here today.
All connected.
Pitt, Wabash, they all intertwine.
Purdue, another penalty here, backs them up to their own 14-yard line. I still have some, not to bring this up again, but I still have some lingering questions about our earlier Pistol Pete conversation that I'm keeping under the lid for now as the clock kicks down to 4:19 left. 2nd and 23 for the Boilermakers from their own 14-yard line. It's a handoff to Reggie Love, and he's all wrapped up there by the Irish secondary. Viliamu Ase gets in there late. Jalen Sneed had the initial tackle for Notre Dame.
Loving what I've seen out of Jalen Sneed today. He laid that big hit earlier that almost led to a fumble very early in the game. But, staying out there right now, I'm admiring the grit and the effort and the passion I'm still seeing from this Irish unit out there. You come up with an interception while already up 50 points. I appreciate the foot on the gas mentality from these boys.
3:40 to go, under 3:40 to go. 3rd and 19 from the 18-yard line for Hudson Card's Purdue offense. 2 to the right, 1 to the left in terms of receivers. It's a handoff to Reggie Love in the backfield. He spins right out across the right hash marks. He's got some space. A flag comes in behind the play. He's tackled out of bounds there by Talich after a 5-yard gain. And we'll see what the flag's about. A lot of penalties for Purdue here on this drive, kind of evident of the sloppy late play. But, yeah, as you said, it's a holding call against Purdue. Sorry for the pause there. Yeah, Marcus Freeman's team is known. They're no strangers to big wins. They had a number of them last year at home. You know, and the thing about it was a lot of those games, you think of Wake Forest, you think of Pitt, inconsequential at that point. Already lost to Clemson or just well about to. I think it was more the Louisville game that took them totally out of contention for the CFP at that point. Is this game inconsequential? Is this an inconsequential 66-7 victory? I think that's what Notre Dame fans are probably wondering right now.
I don't think it is at all. I think this is actually about as, especially with the loss to NIU, this is about as consequential as it gets because the road back obviously is to go 10-0 in these last 12, or in these last 10, already going to have one here. So really about these last 9. And I think especially with how Notre Dame has performed in the CFP before, the CFP is looking for a reason to not put us in the playoff at this point with our performances in 2018 and 2020. And I think that just sort of definitive, decisive, big scoring wins is really sort of why, you know, they might have a chance here, obviously. But yeah. So,
Purdue on the punt here after a Maccabee carry for a short gain. Ball on the 13 here with 2:27 left to go. They were facing a 4th and 24. The punt is up and away, and it's out across midfield. Gathered back there by Aeneas Williams, getting an opportunity to return punt. Tyler, you had a thought.
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest tragedy of this game is that it's going to move Notre Dame's 1897 defeat of the Chicago Dental Surgeons down a spot on the leaderboard to being 2 away from being bumped off on the Notre Dame media supplement. It's going to be a very sad day when we can no longer read through Notre Dame's historic scoring output leaderboard and no longer see the Chicago Dental Surgeons.
Glad we brought the historian on the trip.
Glad we brought the historian. Also on the list, we see South Bend Howard Park. We see Englewood High School. Chicago Physicians and Surgeons. They're going to have to score 88 to get to Chicago Physicians and Surgeons.
And Purdue University. 1st and 10 Irish from the 49-yard line. And it's a handoff. Is that Tyler Buckner at quarterback? I think it is. Meanwhile, Young.
C.J. Carr, I think, right? Yeah, C.J. Carr.
Yes, it's C.J. Carr. So C.J. Carr does get a drive. 1st down Irish on the carry by Kedron Young. And we have hit the 2-minute timeout. We'll have questions about Howard Park, South Bend Howard Park, and Bristol Pete's Cavs when we come back for the final 2 minutes from Ross-Ade Stadium. Notre Dame 66, Purdue 7. You're listening to Fighting Irish Football on the voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI. Well, if we were back at Notre Dame Stadium, that's the song that we'd be playing, Wild Rover. The Irish closing in on a victory here at Ross-Ade Stadium in West Lafayette. 66-7 over the Boilermakers. We've gone through the entirety of Notre Dame's quarterback depth chart. Riley Leonard played the first half. Steve Angeli a lot of the second. Kenny Minchie got a drive. Now C.J. Carr out there for a Notre Dame drive late in the 4th quarter. We've also gone through questions of history on the Chicago Dental Surgeons and Notre Dame's play against them, and questions about Pistol Pete and whether they recruit Pistol Pete based on the size of his calves, so it's proportionate to the head. We've gone through pretty much everything.
Well, it's Purdue Pete, right?
Purdue Pete, right. Pistol Pete's what, Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
Yes. Carr
Maravich
in the gun here. Kedron Young takes the handoff out across the 35-yard line, spinning right down to the 32.
And you know, you'll have your questions about last week, especially after this week, but the fact that you just said Carr handoff to Young is sort of, it's very much I don't know. It makes you sort of.
You can say it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking for a more technical term there, but it definitely gives you some hope for down the line. Not only the rest of this year, but for the future, where these guys are actually having sort of a productive showing.
Clock winding down here to 1:24. Notre Dame would take pretty much all their time, just winding this clock down. Ball in the 32, 2nd and 2. Young in the backfield off to the left of C.J. Carr, getting his first real action for Notre Dame. Hopes of him being the future, and it's a handoff to Kedron Young, who will rumble up on that right hash mark. He's knocked back as soon as he hits the 30 for a short gain.
I think the spot might even have him at the first down.
I think you're right, Ben. Good call. So that will pretty much take us just to about one more play for Notre Dame. We'll see if they run it.
Little fake spike, go deep. Could be in the cards here for Denbrock's offense. We don't know.
And it does look like they're
victory formation.
Going to get in the victory formation, which we've seen coming for pretty much 30, 45 minutes, I'd say, here in West Lafayette after a shaking and disheartening loss last weekend to the Mid-American Conference's Northern Illinois. The number 18 Fighting Irish come back with a decisive 66-7 victory as they've nailed the ball down at midfield. The Fighting Irish are going to win today. They'll let the clock run down. 13 seconds left to go. And the Irish will get back in their winning ways.
Yeah, I mean, the Irish did everything right today, you know. Everyone was saying, look to the ground game. Look to the ground game. They did exactly that. Over triple of yards of last week. Everybody's taking a turn. Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love look fantastic. Riley Leonard has no signs of that labrum injury that has been sort of floating around in the media. It was efficient. There were no mistakes really that were obvious. And then on the defensive side of the ball, it was really the Notre Dame defense that we expected to see, especially last week. We got looks of it in Texas A&M, but on the ground, nothing. Really suffocating front seven, even with the Botello injury. And the secondary held strong in this sort of pass-heavy offense with Hudson Card and the Boilermakers. But really, really, really great. Really, really great all around.
578 total yards, 362 on the ground, 216 through the air for the Fighting Irish, 162 total for Purdue, 124 in the air, 38 on the ground. As you mentioned, that Notre Dame defense really just shutting down the Boilermakers. Time of possession, Irish 35-43, Purdue 24-17. I mean, in every way, after Notre Dame was beaten in, quite frankly, every single one of, I believe, the 18 statistical categories I measured after the NIU game, they do the exact opposite here today with a decisive victory over Purdue on the road. The Irish come back next week with Miami of Ohio at home. You can listen to it right here when the voices of the Fighting Irish, Brian Lane and Joe Tunney, will have the call. It's the first of a 4-game homestand for Notre Dame. They'll take on Louisville, which our Tyler Reidy will have the call on with Will Eck, a bye week, and then Stanford, which our John Bailey, I believe, will have the call with alongside Jimmy Collins. So big stretch ahead for Notre Dame.
Absolutely. I think, obviously, you circle the calendar on the Louisville game. It's going to be a ranked matchup. But as we learned so harshly last week, can't take the Miami of Ohio's for granted there, with them being the leaders of that MAC that we just took a harsh loss to. I think this game gives the confidence back to the Irish that they needed to go, oh, we can go get these 4 in a row. We can go get maybe these 9 in a row to get themselves in the position of maybe being back in that playoff conversation after really sort of, a loss that splintered, the confidence, the fan base. I think that this was really needed to, glue it back together.
Shaken, startled, and shocked last week against Northern Illinois. Notre Dame announcing today in West Lafayette that perhaps, just perhaps, they will not go quietly into that there night. 66-7 is your final. Notre Dame over the Boilermakers of Purdue. Like I said, next week, 3:30 p.m. kickoff here on the Voice of the Fighting Irish. The Irish will take on Miami, Ohio to begin a 3-game homestand. So glad you've decided to spend your Saturday afternoon with us alongside Ben Rohr and Tyler Reidy. My name's Ryan Murphy. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Safe travels and enjoy your weekend. Thanks for listening to the Voice of the Fighting Irish, WVFI.